Welcome in. We got perfect attendance, and you're all grounded. It's 9 to noon. Billy Schmid, John Kuhn, Nick Bruzewitz with all of you on the NicolaitLaw.com talking text line. And that's it. Go to your room, sit there, and think about what you've done, because you're not flying anywhere if you're here for the RNC. No one's going anywhere. All planes apparently grounded right now. Nobody can get out across the country. It's a wild time to be alive. And, John, I like being able to say that. Maybe it's sooner rather than later. As a young parent, I'm going to be able to start, grounding my son. That's it. That felt good to say. You're all grounded. Think about what you've done. Think about what y'all did here today. I like that, Teal. Feels good. Oh, hold on. Did somebody knock John Kuhn off the air? Did somebody ground John Kuhn? Holy cow, we almost grounded you again. Hello. Sorry. Hey, we got you.
What in the world is going on? I've been disconnected. I've been muted. I've been silenced. Nobody can hear me.
I tell you what, I asked exactly which one you were connected to. I was told a number. You were not that number, John. You were not that number. I'm sorry about that.
All right, we're off and running.
You were not where I was told you were connected.
Silence over here.
All right. Rocky start. Should we start this thing over again? What's going on? We got flights grounded in Milwaukee. What the hell's going on down there?
We got flights grounded apparently across the country, apparently everywhere.
Yeah, it's Bill Gates' fault.
Massive communication failure that nobody can talk to anybody. Nobody can communicate with anybody. And I can only imagine, and I don't know if you guys have thought this, once I read the news this morning and I woke up to like 3 or 4 different alerts on my phone about it. I'm not flying anywhere. I appreciate all the different aviation travel apps that I have. Saying,
how happy
don't go to the airport.
This is going to be one of the few times in your life you're happy you're not going on vacation.
Yes,
right.
Very much.
This is Oh, look at all these suckers out there going on vacation. You poor guys. I always thought one of the most shameful walks there is when you get off the plane, like coming back from a Caribbean vacation, right? You're getting off that plane, looking at everybody sitting around, leaving for their vacation. And here you are, you're like, oh man, my stuff's done.
I gotta go work tomorrow.
Here's one where we are at work laughing at all the schmucks going on vacation because they have a bad thing going for them today. Man, well, that's a bummer. I feel bad for everybody out there trying to hit the air and trying to get out on a vacation somewhere.
Luckily, though, I mean, listen, if you weren't going to bars and restaurants for the last couple of days for folks that were in the city of Milwaukee, hey, better than the airport food. Listen, I know they got a Chili's at the General Mitchell Airport, but I might as well go not just in the neighborhood, go somewhere else, go check something else out. It's one of those moments, John, where I thought about it right away. Like the worst grounding you had, the worst situation. That is the worst possible thought. You've been anxiously awaiting your vacation, thinking about it for months, thinking about it for weeks. Okay, now it's finally here. Now it's days. Now we're a couple of days away. Now we're a couple hours away, getting ready to go to the airport. And they actually are sending you notifications. Don't show up. Like, we don't know when this is going to be done. Yeah, so just stay at home. Might as well go to work, get yourself an extra comp day, go and get yourself an extra vacation day, because it is going to be potentially a long situation over there. And, hey, smart people are going to figure it out. We're proud of them. But we're going to laugh at everybody's misery here today because it's Friday, and that's generally what we do on Fridays. Well, that and, do dive bar reviews with Tim Scott in the third hour.
The RNC party in town is just going to keep on going.
Keeps going.
I mean, they can't go home now.
They've apparently been so ruckus and going to all the bars that we had to keep them open until 3 or 4. Might as well now just keep it rolling. Kips in. Like all the third shifter bars should be where the RNC party now goes to here today.
It's going to be an opportunity for those local businesses that they keep talking about profiting off of this opportunity.
If you stayed up as late as you had to stay up to listen to Trump's whole entire spiel last night.
Hand raised in air. I did.
And I know. And then you wake up at 5 o'clock to catch a 6 o'clock. No, you wake up at 4 o'clock to catch a 6 o'clock flight. And you have a text that says, actually, you'd like if you had to have a text that says, don't show up. Most likely you're all groggy eyed because you were 4 hours of sleep and you get into a taxi and then all of a sudden you show up at the airport and you're like, damn, this sucks.
Already ordered the Uber. They got there. You weren't outside. You had to reorder the Uber. You got all the way to the airport. And now you're going to be sitting combing through that PGA store, for the 30% off polo shirts and seeing if there's anything else that you potentially want, which we appreciate.
There's a bookstore there, right?
There is a bookstore.
Armin's been active on X the last couple of days, and he was talking a whole bunch about his favorite bookstore at the airport.
Dude,
I think he's getting bored. I hate to say it. He's got a newborn. That newborn sleeps, and they sleep a lot. And you know what? The feeding, he can't do that.
He's not
so
helping.
one half of the jobs he can't do.
Yep.
So he's bored. He is bored at the house. This is just the first kid. He's not like he's tailing around the older kid like the rest of us. Baby number 2.
Mhm.
Baby number 2 comes. Mama's busy with baby number 2. Kid number 1, you are now full-time parent. Full-time parent, kid number 1.
Here you
gotta
go. Take care and raise them. For the
He doesn't have that.
No.
He doesn't have a dog. He doesn't have a pet. He doesn't even have a plant.
Doesn't have a
Armin
grill.
is bored. Armin is bored on paternity leave. I know it. I can feel it. I can feel it every time I open up social media. I can feel it right through his Twitter fingers. Armin's bored.
Did you see him tweet out a picture of a bug a few days ago? And he was like, anyone know what kind of bug this is?
Oh God, poor kid.
I'm just wondering what
I
kind of
don't
bug.
get his tweets. He's not in my algorithm. I follow him and I
Yeah,
wonder. where
I
is
thought you were
Armin?
supposed
Where
to
is
turn
Armin?
on those notifications.
When he lost his mind on the notifications, I did hit notify, and it has been one of the better things in my life, especially not having Armin in the building. It just gives me that little dose of sorry that I think we all need here in the morning every single day. But John, I agree with you, and I don't know if you got a similar text. I got one yesterday of Armin breaking down Devontae Adams' appearance on the Club Shay Shay podcast. And for Armin, 1, to go and listen to a podcast, 2, to have time to listen to a podcast, 3, to actually care and like what he was hearing, that's when I knew he's chomping at the bit to get back to work. He's waiting very anxiously to get back out of the house and go do something else. Because like you mentioned, and what does the baby do generally after they eat? Sleep. You're not holding them once they're eating. So you're not holding them once they're sleeping. Then you're sitting there saying, now I got to be quiet.
Yeah.
You know that's difficult. For
Beautiful head of hair though on Letta. I mean,
Oh,
full
there
head
we
of
go.
hair.
Yeah.
I've been around a lot of babies recently, just walking,
Oh, okay.
seeing people around
Sure.
right with their kids. Was Carson a full hair young man?
No, he was quite bald for
Yes.
for almost a year, and now the hair's come in.
Letta's got more hair than
Yeah.
Armin.
I want to
mean,
go.
it's
I want to
insane.
get back into when you just talk about been around a lot of babies. You just like going to a lot of different
Well,
baby showers here. Or?
I've just seen a lot of babies. I shouldn't
He's
say
the
I've
only-
been around
he's-
a lot of
he-
babies.
I like that.
I'm
He's the
still
only
closer to baby
freshly-
than I am grown adult. So
That is true.
That's fair.
That
So-
is true.
so there's that.
You relate more as a baby than
That's
a
the
full-grown
truth.
man.
He said yesterday, Armin, he tweeted this out, and maybe this holds water with you, John, and maybe Billy as well. He said the summer of 1999 was the best one ever. Do you remember your summer of 99, John?
Yes, I do. Going into my 99 would have been that's my going into my senior year of high school. Where was I working that year? I was tiling a Walmart that summer. Third shift.
Brutal.
Third shift.
Oh,
Third
my
shift tiling of a Walmart.
Yikes.
Super Walmart at that. A super Walmart. One of the
Super
first
duper
Walmarts.
Walmart.
One of the first Walmarts that I can remember. First one in York to have a grocery store in it. A super Walmart. We were tiling it and it was brutal. Third shift. Let me tell you, those 50-pound, little, I don't know what they call them, but each one does like 10 square feet, weighed 50 pounds. You'd have a pile of like 30 of them on a pallet, and you'd have to wheel that thing around.
Oh,
that
geez.
was some rough stuff.
Yeah, I got fired from my tiling ability job pretty quickly. And that was my folks were doing it at the store, and the family friend that was kind of leading the charge, had done it for a large portion of the years, looked back at my dad and goes, "Billy, I like this kid. He's not going to be any help for us, but he's going to be very, very nice." So I was there. I was just vibes guy, and that turned in right around 15, 16, and that's when I knew, John, I had to lean in on that and keep it rolling.
So summer of
Can I
99, you're like 5.
Yeah, I was about 5 years old, 4 or 5.
But can I
years old.
tell
Yep.
you, $15 under the table an hour? That was worth it.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah.
That was incredible money back then for a
Mhm.
kid going into high school. I mean, that was enough money throughout the summer that I had gas money, extra lunch money, so I could get that double lunch.
Mhm.
I mean, that was just enough money to make it through the whole year. Movies on the weekends if I wanted to.
Oh,
All kinds
yeah.
of crazy stuff that you do as a senior. I could do all of that. I felt good about that. Nick, what's the bluest collar job you've ever had?
Oh, I
Love
did
that
a summer.
question.
I did landscaping with me and my
Oh, you-
boys. We did
you
our
did?
own landscaping company. Yeah.
You and your boys, entrepreneurs, huh?
Yeah, that was during
How'd you
COVID.
pull that one off?
So I would do we would do landscaping in the morning, and then I would go and deliver pizzas for Domino's at night. So we would do landscaping all day. I would go home, shower, and then
boy,
deliver
Nick.
pizzas. And that was actually a pretty great summer, and a lot of money under the table. We were the types of guys that they would look at us. Of course, we'd love to give you guys this job, but blah blah blah. And then at the end, we would tell them how much money we want, and then
That's
they would all
smart.
be like, oh, we feel too bad to not give them what they
Yeah,
want.
after you go
So-
through the whole spiel.
We just moved 2 tons of rocks for you guys, so we would each like $500, please.
And we know you have the money because
Yes.
you just got those stimulus checks.
Yes,
That works out pretty
give
well.
me my money, please. I'm trying to remember what we called it.
There was not one adult. There was not one adult working these negotiations for you.
It was
You
me.
were just-
I-
that was you.
It was me.
I-
They'd be like,
no
Nick, go
offense,
in there.
Nick. No offense, Nick. You in college and you're talking to me. I'm not paying you 1 ounce of attention.
Well, yeah.
Not a chance in hell. Don't take any offense to that because I think you're a fine lad right
No,
now.
I get it,
think you're
John.
a
I
fine
get it.
lad.
Our
You just
demographic.
self-admitted that you were closer to a baby than a full-grown adult.
I was closer
Well,
then.
Nick,
Yeah.
4 years ago, the Bruiser, not a chance. Not a chance.
You weren't quite our
You
demographic.
robbed people. How did you rob
We
somebody?
worked with like former teachers and family friends and stuff like that. They just felt
You
obliged.
guilted them, so they
it-
all knew you since you were
awesome.
It was rare that there was an
kinda
able-bodied
like my
male
Cutco
like
knife
you, John,
days.
in the negotiation.
That's exactly what
Like
it
my
is.
mom
John.
liked
It's
Cutco
like
knives.
it's like my Cutco knife days. Okay, so I'm selling Cutco knives. Who am I calling? I'm calling every single one of my 22 aunts, and I'm going over there and I'm having each one of them buy one knife, and I'm gonna feel good about this.
And that sit down at the kitchen table. The best part was my parents, every single. Chris is coming over with those knives again. We just bought some last year. Yeah, but Bill, he's coming over here and he's trying really hard. He's in college, so you know that we're gonna get. I'm like, well, how many more knives do we need? We don't need steak that much.
I'll
We
tell
have
you how to
15
beat
of
that.
them.
I'll tell you how to beat that. When they show up with that leather that they cut with the serrated knife, you pull out some real leather. That leather's you just pull out a nice
All right, let's see about this one.
like some real fake leather looking stuff and just okay, cut this.
And see the sweat just start building up on the brow.
Tough
Dude,
guy, what's going on with that
I got cut.
super sharp serrated knife?
We have Cutco knives at home as well. We were sold them by my sister's friend. Those things were really sharp compared to things I had worked with in the past. I think there was a lot of cutting myself for a couple of weeks with those knives, trying to cut any food I could. Brand new knives, wanted to do it, cutting a sandwich in half, cutting anything. Kept cutting my fingers.
You cut a sandwich in half and you make it home?
Yeah, bro, you can check my lunch out. I cut it triangles way. The long,
Oh, okay.
the
Look at
diagonal way.
you. Wow, okay.
Still, like
You get right to the goodies. You get
can
right
tell.
to the goodies in
Cut
the
the
middle.
crust off too?
I don't cut the crust off. I keep
Yeah,
the crust. I eat the
sandwich-
crust.
His sandwich is cut in half, Billy. He already admitted
Triangles.
he's closer to a baby than
Hey,
a full-grown man.
You know what?
If you cut your sandwich in half, still a kid.
Yeah.
I hope. Everything.
I'm gonna
I-
try it in triangles now that Nick
Dude,
told
just
me
cut
about
it the
Sounds
long
almost
way,
interesting.
not
Oh,
horizontally or
you
vertically.
cut it long ways?
The angle, yeah, the angle. Make it into 2 triangles.
Oh, that's kind of
That's-
psychotic.
That's definitely the kid cut.
Yeah.
What the-
That's awesome. Okay,
Well,
let's
I'm
go.
sorry. I like things
I'm a
that
fan
are
of that,
it's a
okay.
luxury to cut
Let's
it in half
go.
like that. I mean, seriously, guys, come on. You enjoy your sandwich.
I
more.
actually go into sandwich shops and I say, please don't cut my sandwich.
Actually
I
add more crust, please.
Yeah, actually, let me see more of it. Do you have 2 end pieces for that bread? I'd actually prefer that one.
I'm the dad here. Give me the end pieces. That's how it works. That's what happens with dads.
I'm just used to it. Yeah, let me see some of that. I like AAA Dante. That's the Girl Scout cookies of landscaping. Go up and make sure to guilt them into money. That works. It sure is going to work. It sounds like it was a
It
rather
works out
successful
well.
situation.
I was walking home with a lot of money those days because you would walk home with a check in hand from your landscaping, and then you would get a bunch of tips that you would walk home with at night from Domino's. It was a good time.
My man Danny P from the show. I love this one. Summer of 1998. Wow, working at 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Denny's. Went home, took a little nap, changed shirts. Worked at Mamma Mia's on Burr Live from 3:30 to close. Had so much money and not enough time to go to the bank. If I could get to the bank, it was all singles that I was depositing. I had to swear to the tellers that I was not dancing. I was just a waiter. Danny P. I don't think they were thinking you were, but maybe they were. Maybe they were believing that you were dancing for all that cash. Luckily, you're bringing it in. That is, the summer job feel is one of my favorites. My first one, John, and it was potentially the job that I was absolutely worst at. And you can feel this now being a very good golfer. I was a caddy at Blue Mountain Country Club.
That's awesome.
It was so much fun. I was so bad at it, but I would always try to again keep the vibes rather elite. I remember there were a couple doctors that would bring out there and Billy, you play this game? Not well. All right. Well, I'm not going to ask you any questions then. But more importantly, we're going to have some fun. So, yeah, I can. You want to time me? I'm gonna get you a drink right now.
Fun. We'll have fun.
We'll have fun. I'll get you a drink right now. You can time me. I'll meet you at the next tee box. So that type of electricity was a good time. That was more of the cash that all of a sudden you think of and say, wow, $30, $40 in my pocket. Okay. It's going to last me quite a bit of time.
See, I was a little bit of a smart aleck, though. So I don't know if Caddy would have been great for me. I probably would have been talking a little bit of smack.
Letting him have it after
Oh, yeah. He hits a ball. Great shot. No, it's not a great shot. It's not
particularly
good. It's in the rough. It didn't make the fairway. What are you talking about?
Guy swings and lifts. Hey, got eyes on it. Don't worry about it, sir.
There we go.
Do you need me to mark it with the towel? If you do, we got you. 414-799-1973. We got you statewide here on the game. It's 9 to noon. Nick Brusewitz is right there in for Armin Starian on this beautiful Friday. We're going to hang out with Red Hot Tim Scott's going to stop in the third hour, give us a dive bar review. He leads the dive bar club, and I believe they wore their jackets from what I am believing, John.
They wore their dive bar club jackets with the little skull and crossbones on the back. It kind of looks like Sons of Anarchy. Okay, Red Hot Tim Scott, were they blasting AC/DC? I'm sure we'll get that review a little bit later. Are we doing this now? Is this happening?
It kind of seems like it's
worst
happening.
Worst
job ever, yeah.
Worst high school jobs ever. Detasseling corn. Worst job ever. Unnamed in the 608. What is detasseling? Does he mean pulling off the sides,
like shucking corn,
like shucking it, taking the skin and the hair off? Is that what he's talking about by detasseling?
Detasseling corn, the removing of the pollen producing flowers, the tassel from the tops of corn in the maize plants, and placing them on the ground in a form of pollination control. Yeah, that sounds like a horrendous job. I like this deal. 414-799-1973. Your worst summer job, because today would be the best day of that terrible summer job, though. It's 75 and sunny. You know you're going to have a banger of a weekend ahead of you. You got a bunch of cash in your pocket.
One day to get through.
I got one more day to get through this horrendous college summer job. 414-799-1973. What was that for you? The NickLayLaw.com talking text line is open for it. Not a whole lot of great summer jobs when we're talking about Packers training camp, but we'll get into some of that. Now, the price tag for that summer job, you might have been making more money than you had anticipated. The Packers spending less than anybody else in the NFL on their offense. We'll get into that on the other side of this break as well. But they're flowing in here. Searing pine trees in 1996, $4.25 hourly. Holy
I don't know
cow.
Shearing. So he means trimming them up at the bottom, right?
That sounds like it.
Just limbing them up. $4.25 an hour. He was off.
I'm gonna learn.
I'm sorry to laugh. But 4 years later, you could have towed a Walmart for 3 times that.
I'm excited to learn all the things, John, that I am so unhandy that I can't even pronounce what people were doing to get paid. 414-799-1973. It's 9 to noon on the game. Worked at Road America as a security worker. That's hilarious.
Down. Gosh, took me a second there to remember which one John was on. Okay, John, you're on 2?
Yeah.
2.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
2.
told you're on 4.
Well, I don't know.
Who told you that?
I mean,
Josh.
Josh told me I might have to be on 4 today, and that must be why he turned me off of 2.
Yeah.
Because I logged on to 2 every day this week just because I was told to.
Yeah.
And then he said yesterday I might need 4 today, but I went on 2 and it was good.
No, I got you. Now we're good.
It's another one of these situations of like, it's great to be accommodating. It's nice to help out. But we also have to worry about what is on our air first.
Yeah. No shit.
That's where, get a fucking plan of attack and maybe a spreadsheet as to who's going to be connecting on what for this when you know this day is coming. But, that would take a lot of planning.
I love how they say Bronny James and Dalton Connect lead Lakers to back-to-back wins. Well, Dalton Connect had 20, Bronny had 13, and 3 other guys had 12.
Dude, they showed it was either yesterday or the day before when I was watching that. They came back from the commercial and they're like, star rookie watch. And it was like Dalton Connect, 24 a game, 7 dimes, 3 boards. Bronny James, 4.2 points a game, 1.5 assists. I'm like, oh man, don't show that.
22% shooting percentage. He's got a 40% shooting percentage within 3 feet of the rim.
Oh my god.
Well, yeah, I don't think he's gonna be a star, guys. I was hoping. Frank Gore
Oh.
kind of close, right?
That's brutal. So somebody in, I'll say it on the air.
Multi-policy discount by combining your car, home, motorcycle, commercial auto, and more.
Knowing that our crowd, our audience here is like all blue collar workers is gonna be good for this topic because they're all gonna be like, yeah, so I have to clean the cow shit out of the trailers every day.
Yeah, it's like the funniest part of it.
I had a buddy whose dad had to go down for whatever. He was like hip deep in sewage and waiters for a summer, cleaning out septic tanks. Is that a thing? John, is that a thing?
Yes, that would be an awful job.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. He was cleaning out septic tanks.
Earn rewards on every purchase online or in store. Download Drop now and use code DROP11 to get $5 in points. Get rewarded for shopping today.
In 7 days, the Paris Olympics begin with the most stunning opening ceremony ever. At sunset, brave boats carry Olympic athletes to a celebration at the Eiffel Tower. The opening ceremony next Friday, 7:30, 6:30 Central, ABC and Peacock.
Until yesterday, Jocko didn't have the talking text line. I'm halfway through the show. I'm like, dude, so you have the talking text line, right? He's like, no, I haven't had it all week. I was like, dude, seriously? I would have assumed on Monday he was getting it.
That's a rough one, dude.
So I just gave him my login because I don't care. Syndicate has my login too. I don't really care what.
Right,
do.
yeah.
And he was like, it just changed everything from him just trying to figure out what the hell we're going to talk about to looking at the talking text line. And I was like,
Being able to see if anything.
yeah.
Oh my
He's like,
god.
yeah, well, I thought you would read me texts as they come in. And I was like, he's like, Pike Bomb did that. And I'm like,
Oh. Well, that again could have been something to talk about beforehand. Oh my god, that's funny.
I guess I should make assumptions.
It is funny.
Greg and Franklin. What a dick.
Yeah, that guy's like the worst. That's
He
funny.
is the absolute worst.
I mean, I wouldn't consider myself particularly rich.
Yeah.
And, John put himself through a ringer to be
Yeah.
in the position he is.
It's the same.
That's why I fight with Greg and Franklin all the time. I'm like,
All the time.
bullshit, Greg. I fucking have just as many shit jobs as anybody else out there.
Yeah. One of these guys that thinks they have all the answers to the world.
Mm-hmm. Just about 20 seconds, maybe 35, because I don't know if there's a sweeper.
Hell yeah. She's still getting it on. Nine to noon inside the Iron Jock Studios. Iron Jock, ironjoc.com is the place to be if you are a jogger, or if you're not, you just like comfortable sweatpants at a reasonable price. That's where Iron Jock comes in with their brand new joggers, because you're going to wear them day after day after day after day after day after day after day. They're not going to smell. And then you're going to wear them day after day after day after day after day after day, and they're not going to smell again. And then a day after day after day after day. You see the picture. Now through July 21st, when you buy $65 or more, use promo code 25summer, and Iron Jock will take 25% off your entire purchase at ironjoc.com. That's ironjock.com for more details. Sweatpants season is coming. Let's be honest. It is coming in the city of Milwaukee, in the state of Wisconsin. And sooner rather than later, your flight aware might be coming. We have now good news from General Mitchell. They've got like 50% of their flights are taken off at this exact moment. So there we go. Hit or miss. Hit or miss. Good luck getting out of here. Otherwise, you're going to be grounded for a couple of days. There's a lot of bad things that could come from delays. But more importantly, where chaos comes, creates glory, something like the segment that we just stumbled upon here when discussing some jobs that you have in the summer, where you're sitting here on a Friday knowing that you got paid potentially at the beginning of the week, right? If you're a 1st and 15th kind of guy, and all of a sudden you're sitting, but I got to work all week before I can actually really enjoy some of this because I got to be up at 6 o'clock for landscaping every single day. What was that summer job that you were sitting through on a 75-degree sunny day here on this Friday that you were just salivating for it to be over like Tony and Oak Creek? Well, I had gotten my son a nice lawn cutting job at the city of Oak Creek, and he wanted more money, so he stayed up in Stevens Point to pour concrete. He loves it. That's hard work. Keeps him in shape for wrestling season. Real hard work. Real good work, though. I mean, like, you want to talk about something that's going to keep you, he says, in shape for wrestling season? Ready for wrestling season. If you're digging up, because if you're on that crew, John, and you're the college kid, yeah, you're not doing any of the fun mixing part of it. You're going to be, hey, we need that trench right over there. Let's get that thing dug up over there, buddy. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, I've had some real tough ones too. Roofing one summer, that was a bad one. I wasn't up on the roof much. I was basically grabbing those packets of shingles and carrying them over, climbing up the ladder and putting them on the roof, and then climbing back down and walking over, and then grabbing another thing of shingles and then walking back over and climbing up the ladder and sitting them on a roof. I was doing that mostly. That was a hard one. That kept you in really good shape. And keep in mind, I mean, I'm doing my workouts in the morning for football. So I'm getting the weights in, I'm getting the running in, and then I'm heading to these jobs. That one was tough. That one kept you in real good shape. But I maintain this. The hardest one I ever had was unloading FedEx trucks at that plant just north of York, Pennsylvania. I mean, you walked in there and you probably lost in 4 hours 15 pounds of water, sweating on these trucks in the summertime, just sweltering inside the beds of these things, throwing boxes just nonstop, ripping your pants, sweating through your shirt. I mean, just an absolute mess. And you'd walk out of there exhausted. I can imagine jackhammering and pouring concrete. Very similar.
Yeah, very similar. The UPS one for the temporary work during the holiday season, I was sweating through on those. So I can only imagine how brutal that was in July 4th instead of December 4th.
And you never know when you open a truck. It was like a grab bag. You could open a truck that was full of boxes of pillows. You could open it, and that's great. Hey, I'm going to fly through this truck. The foreman's running up and down the line. Hurry up, like with a whip, like trying to get you going. If you have a truck of pillows, you're great. If he pulls up and you have a truck of sandbags, that was miserable. That was the worst.
How on earth are they finding cinder blocks for this thing? Jason from Port. Roller coaster mechanic in the Wisconsin Dells. I had to walk the roller coasters every morning before the train could go out every day. Now, Jason, that just sounds like terror for me, as somebody that does not like heights and or also not very good with roller coasters anyway. Goodness.
That's a wild job. So you mean to tell me a roller coaster mechanic has to, like, what does he walk it like a balance beam, like he's a gymnast,
right? Like, are we walking a track? What do we got?
What are we walking? Damn. Is there a path beside the roller coaster that I never knew?
Well, I mean, I guess there's the walkway. Like, I'm thinking of like Raging Bull at like Six Flags. Yeah. There's like a walkway that goes all the way up to the. No chance. No.
It's got that like metal loop around it.
No. You could pay me a large sum of money, and I'm not going to be doing that. There's a lot of different things that I could find on here. That one probably isn't going to be able to work. 920 stacking hay bales in the upper barn for $3 an hour. Shearing pine trees at our $4.25 rate sounds a little bit better at that point. Dan from West Bend, 1995. Park pool janitor, $4.25 to clean up the pool. Oh, Hopefully, no Caddyshack situations there for our boy Dan at West Bend.
What, the Baby Ruth? Yeah. A couple Baby Ruths in there. Hey, public pools have public kids.
Yeah, that's fair.
Who wear public diapers, and that will happen from time to time.
Yeah, resealing a roof like Mark and Stevens Point, that one works on a steel building on hot tar blazing heat in the 1987 sun for $6.25 an hour. Woo! Let's go to Brian on the east side. He's got one for us on the NicolayLaw.com talking text line. Brian, what was that worst summer job that you had?
Much like you, Billy, I was a caddy, 1987, Triple I Country Club. I ended up looping I was a B caddy,
Same.
and I looped for $9 a round. With a tip, and if you were lucky, you got a tip. And I was such a poor caddy, rarely did I get tipped, or did I get a drink at the turn. And on top of it all, I ended up going to high school in Mequon and became friends with two guys that I caddied for, that I was terrible caddy for. I'm friends with their kids when I met them in high school.
And they never tipped you. And they never tipped you. You're friends with their kids, and they never tipped you. $9 for a 4.5-hour loop. That's crazy.
That's what it was back in '87, man.
Oh, man.
Brutal.
Brian.
Doesn't wage. I mean, yeah, it was terrible. It's Brad, by the way. Thanks, Billy.
Brad, Brian, same thing. Starts with a B. Billy, you might want to go by Billy right now. That might work even better.
Call me Billy then. Fine. Thanks, Billy.
Take it easy, Brad. Thanks, man. That's awesome. You go for $9 an hour for the 18 holes.
No, that's not $9 an hour. That's $9 for the
$9 for the 18 holes for the 4 hours that you're out there.
That's a rough one.
Oh,
Tyson from Zilla, Washington. The worst summer job that I had was definitely picking cherries. You got paid like $7 a bucket, so I picked all day. Made a whopping $21 that day. Farmer then told me, son, maybe you should try swamping, and I'll pay you $10 an hour. So the next day, that's what I did for the rest of the summer. Swamping is where you go through the orchard, picking up the buckets that the pickers have now picked, and then dumping them into a larger bin on the trailer. So, hey, son, since you stuck at this one, why don't we just let the people that are good at it do it, and then you do the busy work for them? Yeah, that works out. Hey, at least you get the cash for it. Deviation Don, junior year high school. Sold frozen steaks from a pickup truck door to door. Didn't have a car, so I took the truck to a George Thorogood concert. I ended up getting in a fight and getting arrested. The truck reported as stolen from my boss, and then sadly, my days as a steak salesman were over. Well, Deviation Don, you found your way out of that summer job then pretty quickly. Larry the mailman comes in. Gentlemen, summer of 1992, had 3 jobs while in Alaska. Job number 1, 6 a.m. to 3, worked in the produce deli department of the local grocery store for $15.75 an hour. All right, that's a nice cash right there. Job number 2, 4 to 12 midnight at the local fish cannery, cut fish heads off for $19 an hour. Job number 3, Saturday and Sunday, 6 to 10, $12 an hour as a DJ at the local radio station. There we go, Larry the mailman. Okay.
I love throwing multiple jobs together on this one.
That's what I'm talking about.
This is what we get with Armin's tweet of 1999. The summer
Just 1999.
That's it. We don't know. Was it good? Did it suck? Was it awesome? I mean, what about it?
That's the kind of greatness you can stumble upon. Dave's on the north side. He's up on 9 to noon. Dave, what do you got on this, man?
All right. I used to work in a printing shop. This was before Quad Graphics came to Wisconsin. And we used to print all the adult magazine content, Hustler and Gallery and all that stuff.
All right.
And
Damn, nice.
I would work. It was a very hot summer, and I was working on the printing press. And that they were ovens. They had to dry the ink. So it was like 120 degrees. And, back in the day, we had polyester, so I'm wearing all this polyester crap. And my dad was the payroll supervisor, so I would have to drive there with him. And then I'd take a sheet, an old bed sheet, and have to put it on his vintage Thunderbird because I was so full of ink. I lost, I think, about 35 or 40 pounds that summer. It was just, and the fact of the matter is the pay didn't matter. I just, it was just tough.
At the end,
I got through it, and I don't know. The position was called a jogger, and you had to put a bunch of pieces of the magazine on this buzzer thing, and then you had to put them together to smooth them out so that they could go into the next part of the shop.
Sure.
They could be bound up. But it was the most miserable summer of my life. I made a lot of money.
Made a lot of money. And I was going to say, but Dave, you also learned yourself a lot of valuable lessons that summer, didn't you? Hard work, dedication. Dang right. Dave, appreciate the call. That's fantastic. I love that.
Sure.
Now, if you find more of the sauna situation that these individuals are working in, that's where a lot of times you find the hatred of this Dan O'Mano painted house. One summer, literally the worst thing I've ever done. 40 feet in the air with a paint sprayer in one hand and the shield in the other. Between the wasp and the boiling heat, I quit after a month and a half.
Yeah.
I'm also liking the ones that don't make it all the way through the summer job there, John.
Well, I mean, I told you about the FedEx truck. That thing, I was working there for 2 days before I was already looking for the next spot.
Yeah,
I was looking for the next spot. And then the crazy thing about FedEx is like they give you a bonus. Like I think it was like $1,000 bonus they give you after you complete your first 2 weeks, and then, or maybe it was $500 after the first 2 weeks and $1,000 after your first month. I can tell you when that second bonus check hit, and I already had a job ready to start like 2 days after I hit that month notice there. I'm going to make that bonus, and then I'm going to get the hell out of here.
I'm going to get up out of here. Better than 262. Handing out soap and towels in the men's room at Spotlight. Come on. What are we doing here, Ben?
That's tough.
That's a tough situation. That is a tough situation. Almost as bad as our boy John and Jackson. Armored car guard, no AC. We had the contract for all to be all the change in the southeastern Wisconsin area. So we'd have to haul 100-pound bags of dimes around and rolls that refilled on a dolly. John from Jackson. That's an interesting one right there. There's also a little bit of sweating on the other variety while you're pushing around in those no AC armor cars of, yeah, this is a little bit more dangerous than some of us would have signed up for. Todd, the Philly guy living in Cedarburg, that's a hell of a name, Todd, grew up on a horse farm in Maryland. Summer was always grass season, bailing and tossing into the trailer, only to unload it all at the barn. Needless to say, I was a lineman. Todd, the Philly guy living in Cedarburg. There you go, Todd from the 302. We appreciate it. They're rolling in faster than we can even fathom. Shockingly, John, people like talking about some of the good misery from their
on a Friday
growing up
before we head off into a weekend. This is a perfect way to do it. We'll tap these throughout the day as we get into some other stuff, but I'm loving this. I am just reading nonsense, and they are coming in faster than ever.
So fast, dude. It's unreal. 414-799-1973. Cut corn off the cob from 6A to 6P Monday through Saturday for $12, $10.50 an hour. There you go, 608. They're rolling through. We can't keep up, but we will have them throughout the day. We'll have Paul Wagner coming up in about 20 minutes from right now. Nick Bruzewitz is with us. I'm Billy Schmid. That's John Kuhn, our two-time Super Bowl champion with all of you on the NicoletLaw.com talking text line. Finding things like Jeff from Mount Horeb. We're finding a lot of detasseling corn. Then also the slaughtering plant for Jeff in Mount Horeb. So he went from the vegetables, herbivore, to carnivore right out of the gates for $9 an hour. That is a quick flip for our guy Jeff on the NicoletLaw.com talking text line. Worst summer job and some Packers conversation before Paul Wagner flips it to baseball coming up in about 20 minutes from right now. 414-799-1973. It's 9 to noon. Stay wide on the game.
John, you're down. Everyone's down. Jesus.
I think I was chewing your ear off over there.
What's going on, Nick?
Well, I'm not accustomed to answering the phone, so when there's multiple calls, I don't know how to screen multiple. Like, I don't know how to screen more than one at a time, so I'm just throwing mystery callers on hold. I even wrote it on this piece of paper for Billy. I'm like, we got a mystery.
It's one of Armin's favorite things is just like he answers the phone and hits hold.
Yeah.
Picks it up, hits hold. And he's like, I'll get it in the break.
Yeah. But Todd in Edgerton was just talking my ear off about his tobacco job he had. And he was telling me about how hot it was and how, he would just hope he could get some shade.
That's hilarious, dude.
We switch gears at some point.
Yeah, we're gonna talk some football and stuff here. Also got a good one. Lamar Jackson suing Troy Aikman.
I saw that.
Over the trademark of the number 8.
Mm-hmm.
So wait, Troy has a trademark on the number 8?
They both do. They both have competing trademarks. And Lamar's questioning that Troy's is too much like his, creating confusion.
Yeah, I think they'll ever have like a universally retired NFL number.
I don't know. That'd be tough.
Like,
What do you mean by that?
like
42 in baseball,
Yeah.
retired across the league.
and
Well,
Bill
you're
Russell,
gonna-
right? Did they retire 6?
They didn't retire it. I think they just had put it on everyone's floor. I don't believe it's retired for everybody. Could be though.
And only one
Yeah,
player, Bill
retired
Russell,
by
has
all
number-
NBA teams. Yep.
What was he, number 6, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is there anybody that's still wearing it though? As of September 23, only 2 teams in the NBA do not have any retired numbers: the Clippers and the Raptors.
NBA players. Is LeBron wearing 6? No, he's 23.
No, he's
right?
back at 23. He'll flip in a year or two.
Yeah, so who was the NFL's guy he would be?
Unlock your potential. Go to adventnose.com to schedule your appointment. Because when you breathe well, you
Yeah, I don't know. .com.
results may vary.
This season on Naughty at Island.
What number is Jim Brown? What
That's
number was
interesting.
he?
32. See, that's interesting because the Bucks don't even have it listed here actually as a retired number. So I wonder if they just won't hand it out, just won't acknowledge it.
Now with
Yeah.
Metro, get that new customer feeling again and again. Introducing Metro Flex. Free 5G phones when you join, same deals as new customers when you stay. Only at Metro by T-Mobile. Just bring your number and ID and sign up for an eligible plan. After 12 months, trade in and get our best deals on select devices.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded.
We'll have a relatively quick segment here.
All right.
I think we'll have about 7.
Man, they're. I just read this thing about. It's all speculation because the Packers are the only ones that list their stuff. But you know how we talk about the NFL being a $14 billion industry.
Mm-hmm.
He's breaking it down that it's actually $25 billion in earnings.
That's what this is for. We can send our technician through here. Right to the doorstep of our customer's home.
Because the Packers are probably somewhere between 9th and 12th in average earning. Because all we really know off the Packers that we can extrapolate to other teams is the TV money and extrapolate that over 32 teams.
Yeah.
But it's the other money that gets interesting.
Capital Cares.
That is interesting. But that doesn't get them close to Roger Goodell's $25 billion goal by 2027.
How'd the job go, Merle?
I should have guessed.
Capital will repair your air conditioner same day, 7 days a week. Call us or go online at callcapitalcares.com.
Or at least we haven't seen many, if any, messages like, are you guys going to talk about sports?
No. People know where we're at.
Yeah, and they know what time of year it is. And honestly, Nick, if one thing I learned early on is the less you give a fuck about these people, the easier the job is.
Yeah, I've been learning.
Yeah.
I've been learning to care less.
That and they love talking about themselves.
Like you gotta love like hanging out and doing that and like and talking with them and stuff, and you gotta treat them with respect, obviously. But if they say, hey man, that's fucking like somebody the other day, that's how I know you don't know shit about baseball.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. And by the way, Paul Skeens did start the All-Star game. Matt in fucking Milwaukee, you cocksucker.
Correct.
Exactly like I suggested he should.
9 to noon on the game. Thanks for hanging out with myself, Billy Schmidt, John Kuhn, our two-time Super Bowl champion, the Bruiser, Nick Brusewitz, in with us here on the NickLayLaw.com talking text line is where you are weighing in, and people are still dropping in their worst jobs that they were lucky to have in high school, like Ken in Pewaukee digging foundations for gravestones at Holy Cross Cemetery. Had to go 4 feet down to the for the frost level and whatever dimensions on the ground, 90 plus heat, union money. When I finished in this blue truck, my buddy John would throw me a PBR, pull the cardboard over the hole, and just soak in all the coolness of the air, enjoying my PBR. There you go, Ken. See, and that was the deal. That's how we get on this thought here. Now, also, Armin just remembering the summer of 1999, which I wonder if it was a very formative year in his life. Maybe that was first kiss. Right, we don't know.
Well, him and John are the same age, close-ish, right?
Yeah,
right?
ish.
So he
Ish.
would have been either a senior in high school or maybe the summer after his senior year of high school.
No,
Yeah.
Armin was probably he's a couple years younger than me.
Turns 40 this year,
So,
yeah.
So Armin's going to be he was a sophomore in high school, going into his sophomore year.
That's a good time. That's
Oh,
a good
yeah.
time. You got your
Sweet
first year of
spot.
high school under your belt. You know what it's
Still can't drive a car, but you can be rolling around in your
Sophomore
bike.
year of high school potentially was his first kiss. Potentially.
Yeah,
was.
100% could have been.
I think I was.
Where are we
Pokemon
thinking?
Go
Like a
that
nature reserve here, John? Or are we thinking more like Conkle
No,
Park?
that was the
or-
summer camp. It was the actual
Yeah,
summer.
That's true.
I mean, he's told us about that many times. before.
That's fair. Armenian summer camp does go down. Hey, interesting thread to go down, John. As we've been going down different cash rabbit holes, we've been talking a lot of money when it revolves around the Green Bay Packers. This week, obviously, they released their financial reports. We're still waiting, wondering. Hey, 9:20, Brian Gutekunst talks. Maybe he releases on Monday, 9:20, when 9 to noon. It's broadcast from day one of Packers training camp. Maybe then he just announces Jordan Love's contract extension. Until, we'll keep waiting for that. But you flared us on this from Tyler Webb, who I've been familiar with his game on the sports business side of things. I did not and was unfamiliar with his game of hosting the Pocket Presence podcast with Nick's boy Kurt Benkert. But this breakdown of the NFL dollars and cents that we kind of extrapolate out from the Packers financials and try to believe that we then are able to tell what every other team in the NFL is looking like and how much the overall business is worth. We put it at like 13, 14 billion. Florio saying just hit over 14 billion first time, big news. Yeah, Tyler Webb saying we might be saying hold my beer. This thing might be closer to 20, $25 billion as to where the NFL is sitting at.
Yeah, and that was something going out of that CBA from 2010 to 2011, the uncapped year that we had in 2010. And Roger Goodell had made some comments that, he wanted the NFL to be a 25 billion. And I just arbitrarily picked the year 2027 that he wanted it to be a $25 billion industry. And nobody really knows. Nobody really knows because none of the teams have to put out their financials publicly except for the Green Bay Packers. And the only money you can really extrapolate over 32 teams is the revenue sharing money that makes up about 60% or 65% of the Packers' total revenue. But if you take that and extrapolate that out, which is a guarantee over 32 teams, that comes out to 13 or 14 billion. But then you got to try and guesstimate how much are the other teams making on top of that. And there's a lot of people that have speculated that the Packers are somewhere in total revenue, meaning the revenue not shared, of somewhere around 9th to 12th.
Yeah.
I would lead you to believe there's a couple teams, and with the Packers at 600 million this past year, there's probably a couple teams and there's big old markets that are national brands like the Cowboys, maybe the 49ers that are upwards of maybe $1 billion a year annually just for that team. So Roger Goodell, if this was one of his goals, I would assume he's probably pretty close to making it because that's what the owners wanted to hear, and that's what the owners want to see. They want to see you come through with your word. So it's big time business, it's big time money, and it with the TV deals because it just keeps going from stream to stream to stream, from program to program, and that's what the NFL is doing right now. I remember asking Drew Brees one time, when does the NFL become too big to fail? Like, when does the money get so big? We talked about it with Wall Street and housing markets and everything else. When does the NFL become too big to fail, right? And it kind of feels like it might be that way right now.
It does. It feels right now like it would be. That's what Mark Cuban's been and tried to say, that he was cautioning everybody that loved and salivated and said that it was by far the best sports league in the world, would say, hey, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. That thing's going to get a little bit too big for its britches. I'm not totally sold on that. I also like the fact that in this final piece where, John, you mentioned like some teams could be upwards, like the Cowboys, of over $1 billion in estimated revenue. The three teams, Cowboys, Rams there in Los Angeles, and the Las Vegas Raiders being there at number 2 was one that maybe I shouldn't have been as surprised about. One of the more legendary, iconic fan bases. And now with the amount of money, we saw it firsthand this year that's going through that city with not only the Super Bowl, but every single week they're at home, every single week that they're not at home, but people still going out there and knowing, hey, man, I'm going to check out that Las Vegas stadium while I'm out here. It's clear that is an absolute rocket ship. That's not slowing down. It's not surprising to think of, and it also makes a little bit more sense when Roger Goodell gets another $60 million extension per year, John. Like, cash in on a $25 billion promise by 2027. That $60 million doesn't seem so crazy for him to be cashing in at.
Don't forget the lifetime health insurance for he and his family, and the private plane that he can fly around.
Private jet is the other one. Yeah, the private jet might be fun, especially on a day like today. Right? I mean, when travel is not working out very well for most folks, communication error seems to be getting better for folks hitting the runways today. But we don't have all that information. More importantly, General Mitchell will. And if you go to FlyMKE, you can find all that information on your flight coming up today. Or you could just soak it all in, enjoy sitting around saying, man, I'm here for this convention. I'm finding this amazing radio show that's talking sports, talking revenue, and the worst high school job that I ever had in the middle of my summer. I like this deal. Yeah, you just stumbled on 9 to Noon. Nice to meet you. I'm Billy Schmidt. That's John Kuhn. Nick Bruzewitz is right there. And now we welcome in on the other side of this break our former Brewer, also Pittsburgh Pirate. We like to focus on the Brewer side. When Paul Wagner joins the conversation, baseball comes back tomorrow for your Brewers. 65 games to play in the 2024 championship season. What do they have to do to lock up that NL Central crown? We'll ask our former pitcher coming up next, 9 to Noon on the Game.
Down.
Here we go.
Does Wags call us? Do I call him?
I think he calls us.
Yeah,
I'll shoot him a text.
Try and remind myself here to have John do his read at the end.
There we go.
Well, I am with the beat now. Was who's halftime for the Super Bowl? Was that the Who, or was it Black Eyed Peas for John
for Super Bowl 45?
Yeah,
Black Eyed Peas.
45. Black Eyed Peas was the Who the year before or the year after?
The Who was Super Bowl 42, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you have any teammates that were like, I want to go watch the halftime show, like Evan McPherson did a couple years ago?
You mean like Ja did this year for Thanksgiving and got punished, got fined for it?
Yeah, like that, but at the higher stakes during the Super Bowl. Not even Johnny Jolly.
Jolly would have.
Was he the one? Was he busted with like purple drank or something?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's why I just remember him from. That's why I remember him from.
Yeah, he was sipping on that lean.
Sipping on that lane. Those motherfuckers back then were nuts. I walked into a couple bathrooms and a couple bars and was like, I'm gonna walk right back out.
I'm gonna get out of here. I'm not trying to go to Tahoe. Not trying to go skiing yet.
If you've had back surgery and aren't satisfied with the results, or you struggle with chronic back pain, there's a new FDA-approved biologic called Disc Seal. It's quick, simple, safe, and highly effective. Disc Seal requires no surgery. It's a 20-minute procedure, and it's now available at Longevity Health 360 in Brookfield. Live pain-free with Longevity Health 360 and Disc Seal. Visit WIDiscSeal, that's SEEL.com, or call 262-200-2700 today. We all love Saturdays, but are they really all that rewarding? I mean, do you really feel rewarded after mowing the lawn or doing all your I gotta do this because today's the weekend, whatever's? Well, Potawatomi wants your Saturdays to be the most rewarding ever with a share of $400,000 in cash and prizes. Just wait this July for prize drawing entrants. Win on Saturdays. Plus, each Potawatomi rewards level gets their own drawing. Rewarding Saturdays at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. For more details, visit payscape.com/reward. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Mom, it's school shopping time. On it. Ooh, Target has select supplies like crayons and glue sticks for 25 cents, plus markers for 50 cents. Next, my new Rockstar buy means new clothes. Oh, totally. These graphic tees for $6. That means a lot. And a strawberry lunch bag to match my sweet personality. Got it. It's only $5. Let's get your favorite Good and Gather snacks. They're now at a new lower price. Best team ever. When it comes to low prices, Target has your back to school.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that Hercules talk exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items and restrictions apply.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month. Questions and no medical check.
We should be okay.
45 seconds. That's all right.
Tiger's gonna miss the cut.
Yeah, I just saw that.
It's good. It's just good something to talk about.
Yep.
On a day like today.
Oh, Wags. Do I call him?
Yeah. I just texted him.
To tell him to call us?
Yeah, he should be calling us. 14 over par. My goodness.
Pretty good. I can't imagine it's the worst one out there. Wonder what Wyndham Clark's at. That guy sucks.
Oh, you want me to check?
I think he's.
I cannot explain how hard golf is over there to us.
97 free game day in location.
I mean, I watch these guys. It's just so I can't. We'll talk about it on here.
It's just got to be next level, yeah.
Well, there's a guy at plus 20.
Hey, Wags,
John
how's it going,
Daly
man?
withdrew after an 82
John
yesterday.
That's
Come back
awesome.
now.
Ernie Els withdrew after an 82 yesterday. Wyndham Clark's plus 16. He's worse than Tiger.
Yeah. That guy stinks.
Oh, man, that's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. Got to make some new money. That's what we're trying to find. That's what our folks are trying to do on 9 to noon on the NicolaLaw.com talking text line. We've been asking today, how were you making that extra cash? How are you making that money, and which one was the worst that you ended up doing in those summer jobs back in high school into college? This man was a little too busy doing all of those things. However, you want to talk about getting your hands dirty? Paul Wagner, our next guest, absolutely can. You want some cement poured? I bet he would do it one man band. You want some tile done on that Walmart Supercenter like John Kuhn was doing? Paul Wagner's got a 50-pound tile, no problem, no issues. Wags, before or in between you hurling fastballs and K'ing out kids at Germantown with that slider that you were delivering, did we have a worse summer job? Did we have a horrendous college employment there for Paul Wagner before grinding through minor league baseball, which some people would say might end up being there because of the wages?
Well, I'm gonna tell you one thing. This the River Casino down here in Chicago hasn't been good to me. For some odd reason, all of my chips. I woke up this morning and my chips are red, and they say $5. I thought they were black chips.
I was gonna say, oh no, Wags, you're mistaking it. Those are actually the purple chips. Those are the $500 chips I think that you have in there. Yep, that's what I think it is. Yep.
I'm gonna go ask him. No, but I had tons of little jobs. The one that I remember the most, and this is gonna sound kind of crazy, is we were in McLean County. I was down in Illinois, and my job was to go around the parks and paint picnic tables. And I'm like, picnic tables? This is gonna be easy. So I'd grab my little, whatever I had, like a golf cart. I'd paint these picnic tables, and every once in a while there'd be concession stands. And I'd go in these concession stands and nobody was there. And I'm like, well, I'm painting picnic tables. Nobody's here. There's nobody in the concession stand. So I would help myself to some chips, some candy bars and stuff. And next thing I knew, I got a thing, and my bucket was full. My garbage can was full of wrappers from the last couple of days. And the boss comes by and he goes, "Hey, Paul, you know what? You're supposed to pay for that stuff." He says, "You don't make enough painting picnic tables to eat all those candy bars."
Well, they should have made that a little bit clearer. They should have wrote that down somewhere in the manual, and then I would have known. See, it's easier that way. Wags, so we're down there. I imagine that's a Chicago Dogs trip. What's the outlook? What's the feel of the squad like right now? As it's been about a week and a half since we've checked in with you boys.
Yeah, it's definitely turning up. We have the Chicago Dogs Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 3-game series before the All-Star break, for our All-Star break. We just came in from Gary, Indiana. We took 3 out of 4 from there. We should have took 4. I mean, you always could have, should have, would have, but 3 out of 4 from them. We're kind of on a little state pack, and hey, we're just going to keep pounding away here. The Chicago Dogs are ahead of us by about 3.5 games, I believe. They're the ones we have to catch for the playoff spot. So I'm not saying we're going to sweep, but we definitely have to take 2 out of 3 here, and then we'll look forward to the All-Star break and then head into the second half on a roll.
All right, Wags, the Brewers are just about to kick off their second half of the season. Only 65 games left, though. It's not really half the season. And sitting in a great spot right now. This trade deadline is going to creep up on us before we know it. It's just going to be here right around the corner. What do you suspect the Brewers do? Do they go out and get another arm here before this thing's said and done?
I think they get an arm. I think they may. Don't be surprised even if they get a position player. The thing that I want though is I want influencers. I don't want people,
TikTokers.
I don't want. Yeah, you know, I don't want a guy to come in here like we've done in the past, and nothing against the Mark Canna. I'm going to say that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want somebody to come in to back up when Willie Adames needs a day out. We need somebody that has experience. Somebody like if you look at the Arizona Diamondbacks last year and their amazing run, they had Evan Longoria at third base. Evan Longoria is 55 years old. He's not going to do whatever they want. But you know what he did? He helped the young players. He helped the fringe players. He helped those players know what veteran leadership is in a postseason run. I'm not saying we don't have it. The Brewers have been in the postseason 9 out of the last 10 years or 8 out of 10 when Craig was here. We know how to do it a little bit. We don't know how to win. I think we don't know how to actually get that next level, and that's what I want him to do. Is a Flaherty from Detroit, is he the guy as a pitching arm? Ethan, there's so many guys that are available that have had World Series experience, and that's what I think we look for. Not necessarily postseason experience, John. I want World Series. I want winners.
Okay.
I want guys walking in with rings.
Listen, I feel you on that. A couple series this year against some of the cream of the crop. Phillies come to mind, Yankees come to mind. Did not play as well in those series as they did for the first half of the season. Now, I'm going to ask you though, since you bring it up, bringing a guy with World Series experience, what spot are you? What position? I mean, does it matter? I mean, you don't want to just, hurt this dynamic that's been going on right now, and this roster right now, this lineup. I don't really know where the hole is. Where is the gap? Where is the hole in this lineup right now that you would like to add one of those pieces to without potentially hurting what you already have?
Exactly right. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter where that goes. The arms are important. I want a starter. I want a starter that's going to give me a 6 innings. I want 18 outs. I want 18 outs. I want a starter. I'd like a bullpen guy, but I want experience. And the position players spell a utility, somebody that you can just look at. I don't care. Like you asked, what position? Hell, they can help move furniture in the clubhouse. They have to be there. They just have to be there because that's the culture you want. You want to bring in players who win. You don't want to go raid the Pittsburgh Pirates for a role player. You don't want to go raid the New York Mets like we did last year for a role player.
Yeah.
We don't want role players. We want guys who know what it's like when they hop on the plane for postseason play. They're jacked. They're ready. They know what to do. Whether they're playing and they're instrumental in scoring runs or throwing pitches, doesn't matter. They're instrumental in the culture of the clubhouse, and that's what develops winners.
Wags, Paul Wagner hanging out with us here, LakeCountry.com's pitching coach, former Pirate and Brewer pitcher, and Wisconsin legend and icon here. Wags, I want Flaherty. I love the name being dropped in here. Now, granted, his dominating 2019, I mean, we're talking that's like 6 years behind us now when he was leading the league in whip and so, but he's having one of the best years of his career in Detroit. But last year, he was a deadline guy, right? He gets picked up by Baltimore and it doesn't go well, right? Ends up starting like 7 games. They can barely keep him in the rotation. Does that caution you at all if somebody has had success or on the other side has not had success being a deadline guy? Or do you just believe what you mentioned, this culture, this clubhouse this year could be different and we can find something with working and accentuating something he's doing well?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of both. I mean, it makes sense on both sides. I mean, every sword you pull out is double-edged. There's always a pro and there's always a con. I'm just going to look back, like you just mentioned last year. The Baltimore Orioles had a turnaround season, and they believed that was an option. Didn't pan out. They go and get Corbin Burns to head their rotation. Great. That was a great move. I don't think Jack Flaherty, I don't think him, Nathan Eovaldi, I don't think these guys are negatives. You have to take a chance on that because you don't know. When a guy knows how to do it, sometimes it's hard. It's like riding a bike. Maybe not the performance isn't what it was in 19 or with Eovaldi and when he was with Boston or something like that, but it's there and guys know that. Again, like I said, you pull out the sword, no matter what you do, there's 2 edges on it.
Wags, when you look at this team and the Cardinals sitting 4.5 back from the Brewers, do you think it's necessary that they would have to go out and grab some additions to try and fuel the group down the stretch? Do you think the Cardinals pose a big enough threat that the Brewers' status quo would not be in a position to carry this division lead into the postseason?
I believe they have to do something. They can't stay status quo. The last 10 games, you're 3-7 in your last 10. Again, I don't believe in the rearview mirror. I always look forward, but it is something there. You've got guys that are tired. You've guys got them playing more. You're getting more production early in the season or that first 100+ games or the 100 games you played from guys you weren't expecting this type of production. You were expecting good things, but maybe not to this extent. Guys get tired. Guys get weary. Guys haven't played 162 plus. I think, man, status quo, it won't help me. It won't help you. I don't think it'll help the fan base. I think the Milwaukee Brewers have to do something. And Matt Arnold, his front office, those scouts, those evaluators, that's why they get paid the big bucks. They got to know what that clubhouse culture is. Pat Murphy has to continue to talk to them with the coaching staff and let front office know the culture. The guys upstairs making moves, Matt Arnold doesn't know what it's like to fly on a charter flight, have a cocktail after you've blown a save or you lost a game or you won a game. They don't know that stuff. So the communication level has to be great there, and they have to make sure that whatever they do add, it has to help both sides, both the clubhouse culture and the upper office men. And you know what? It's a tough call, but staying status quo, I don't like that. I don't like that.
You know, Eggs, the biggest shot in the arm still, I believe, is going to be Devin Williams' return to this team when he comes back. And I'm just curious on your end, how does that work if you're Murph? Where do you does he just automatically assume the ninth inning again? Do you work Trevor McGill in front of him? Do you kind of work this in unison? How do you make this thing work with your pitching background that you have?
He goes right to the ninth inning. He goes right to the closer role. Everybody else drops slot. They go 6, 7, 8. Everybody drops slot. Devin Williams is your closer. Uribe's knee surgery, obviously a little bump in the road. Devin Williams is an all-star. He's the best closer in the game. Devin Williams, when he's ready to come, where he's A-ball or double-A, wherever he's doing his rehab right now, when he's ready to come, he inserts right back into the ninth inning and everybody slots down.
I love it.
How does that work for the guys that slot down? Are they fired up about that? Or do they think it's an easier job to slot down? I mean, take us through the mindset of a pitcher as as the real stud closer comes back. How's everybody else feeling about it?
Absolutely. They don't take it as an insult. They know it. They know their role. They understand what happens, and it's a positive. You're a pitching staff who's looking for you're winning. It's a different story, too, if this team was 13 games under 500 and a situation like that comes up. But you're 13 games up over 5. I mean, you're 13 games over 500, 4.5 up in the Central. You got 65 games to go. This is a shot in the arm. You know who Devin Williams is. You know what he's capable of doing. The mindset of everybody in that bullpen is exactly right. They know exactly where they slot. There will be communication between Chris Hook, between the bullpen coaches, between Pat Murphy. They'll know exactly where they are when Devin Williams comes back. And I guarantee you, they'll take it and run with it, because this Milwaukee Brewer team will take that injection, and Devin Williams at the back end will just catapult them past.
Paul Wagner hanging out with us here, pitching coach for the Lake Country Dockhounds. Go and check out Wings with Wags, dockhounds.com/Wags, where you can find the information there. They also have Leroy Butler Day. Hey, happy birthday, Leroy Butler. His birthday here today on the 19th. Happy birthday to Leroy. He'll be there Tuesday, July 30th, throwing out the first pitch. Pre-game festivities start at 6:05. Game against the Gary South Shore Railcats will be at 6:35. And Wags, you mentioned, I mean, with you guys winning games in Gary, Indiana, you might be the only team and only group to ever enjoy your stay in Gary, Indiana. So that's an impressive feat to be able to hold for your Dockhounds, and I hope the squad is, holding on that proud.
Well, it's easy when you don't stay in Gary. You stay in a place called Portage, Indiana, and your hotel around you, there's a Bass Pro Shops and a Hooters. You can't lose.
Oh, yeah.
That's a winner right there, yes.
You go down there, you check out some of the fish, some of the record catches there in Indiana that they hang on the wall, and then you make your way over to Hooters and get yourself some of those wings. Make sure you get those shrimp, too, those special spicy shrimp that they do in the grill. Daytona. I think they're called Daytona. Oh yeah, I think they're called Daytona. Something like that. Hey, Wags. My last thing I got for you is the Brewers being young. The Brewers, we said it's not the halfway point. They go past halfway before they go into the All-Star break, but they looked like they needed to get to the break. They were stumbling a little bit. I think they lost their last 3 series going into the All-Star break. Maybe looked a little bit tired with this young team. How do you think the break is going to serve this squad, and do you expect them to get back to what they were doing earlier in the season once they return here from this break?
Yeah, I expect them to get back to where they were, but it is definitely well needed, and hopefully they rejuvenated enough. They know what they had to do. Like I said, guys they weren't used to playing 100. They're playing games. William Contreras, we saw a little bit of a slide in offensive production, but he's behind the plate every day. You know what? Guys are doing things that they weren't used to. And by saying that and needing a break doesn't necessarily mean that maybe a bad word, like they're not lazy or they're not taking care of themselves. They're all professionals, but the body wears down. The body needs a break, regardless if you're in the weight room, whether you're running, whatever you're doing, your body needs time to rejuvenate and get back to shape. And I'm not saying there's anything negative on the player's side, not at all. Not at all. But this break was well-deserved, well-needed, and now you'll see, when they come out of you'll see these, they'll evaluate before the trade deadline, the front office will evaluate the next 10 to 12 games, and they'll see exactly where they are. They're going to see how they fare against this Twins team. That's pretty well. Twins have been playing pretty well right now. Here, how do we get out of this box? How do we jump out of this all-star break? We roll out hot. That's an aggressive move. Front office does it. They're going to take a look at that. That's how it's going to be.
Wags, it's one of my favorite things that baseball does, and it makes zero sense to me whatsoever. Yesterday, 12:08. Hey, 2025 MLB schedule comes out. As a pitcher and a player, can you even fathom looking at it? Do you even football players know for 2 weeks when it's coming out? NBA players, Wags, their season starts in 2.5 months. They have no clue. They have no schedule. You guys almost a full year out get your schedule. So do you even glance at it? Anybody even look at it in that clubhouse here? Or is that, out of sight, out of mind, and we'll deal with that come December or so?
Yeah, not a chance. 26 guys care less about next year. It's all about this year. They do not care. 26 guys, I guarantee you the coaching staff, they could care less. They probably don't even know it came out because they're so focused on getting to the postseason right now. This is it. This is the time, not tomorrow. It's today.
Well, I'm excited because they open against the New York Yankees at Yankee Stadium, and that'll be a great time to be able to celebrate the 2024 World Series champion Milwaukee Brewers. I mean, how about it? Open up on the road right out of the gates that way. That plays. Wags, we appreciate it, man. We'll talk next week.
All right, boys.
Safe travels and stay out of rivers. Wags, just stay out of rivers, dude.
Even though your phone works underwater, it doesn't work great. Yeah, try and stay above in the air.
That stupid casino. I hate it. I hate that casino.
They just paint chips. I guess you just paint chips. There's paint chips.
Correct. Yes, they're all crooked. All right, brother. Be safe. Get out of there and come back up to the good side of that I-94 line. That's Paul Wagner. There he goes from the Lake Country Dock Downs. Our former Brewer, former Pirate, Germantown legend. Also, apparently not very good poker player. Apparently not very good blackjack.
No, it sounds like it's going bad for the old pitching coach down there.
That's a tough one. Could you imagine just being one of the players walking by? Sweet coach over here. Coach, how's it going? Not good, Tommy. Okay, I'm going to go to bed. I'll see you guys in the morning. 414-799-997. That's a quick conversation there. John, we got to have a conversation what's going on at this British Open. Round one leader having maybe the worst start to a round you could possibly have for a Justin Thomas, Tiger Woods. You want to talk about a tough round for old Tiger? Looks like he's almost cut a 14 over, but we will go through the rest of it. And there's a flu game being had by a caddy at the British Open, which
grind
might be even better. Might be even better. It's 9 to noon. Stay wide on the game.
John Kuhn here for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and I'm a dad. Billy's a dad. Armin's now a dad, so how about a good old Wisconsin dad joke? What do you call it when a cow grows facial hair? Well, around here we call it a mustache. And now it's time for a good window dad joke. What do you need in order to cook in a sunny kitchen? Well, of course, you need shade and bake. And really, I can't help myself with these jokes because my mind is on windows and doors, thanks to this incredible deal going on at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Listen up right now. Pay as low as $18 per window and $81 per patio door per month through this month. And Pella completes installation very easily. Little to no mess or hassle, and they leave nothing behind but perfect results. Again, this deal is get as low as $18 per window and $81 per patio door per month at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. But listen up, that offer ends July 31st, so you have to hurry. Make your way into Pella right now and tell Gina Della that John Kuhn sent you. Certain restrictions apply. Showroom for details. Visit PellaWI.com today.
How was that? Back-to-back Coons. Back-to-back John Kuhn ads.
What's this one?
Golf, fun, and making a difference.
For Salvation Army, huh?
9 to noon on the game this hour. The program brought to you by Happy Place Hemp and happyplacehemp.com. Everybody relax. Happy Place Hemp has all your hemp-related needs for a reasonable price, locally and legally produced right here in the state of Wisconsin, and Muskego, Wisconsin, to be exact. And you get 25% off your entire order every time at happyplacehemp.com. It's that easy. You go to happyplacehemp.com, use promo code Billy, get all your cart loaded up with everything you need from Delta 8, Delta 9 gummies, recreational gummies, by the way, CBN, CBD gummies, or maybe you're going on vacation, long drive with the pup. Their pet products as well can help ease some of the stress and the issues that come with a long road trip over there with Happy Place Hemp and happyplacehemp.com. Great guys, Rob and Chris, making fantastic products. And again, 25% off always makes it better at happyplacehemp.com. All right. The Open Championship Round 2, Royal Troon Golf Course in Troon, Scotland. Last year, Brian Harman wins it. This year, who will take the crown? Yesterday, John Kuhn, we talked to Chuck Garbedian in this second hour of the program. It was Justin Thomas, 3 under, leading the charge, dominating the fray. And congratulations to Justin Thomas. He may have had one of the craziest turns that you could possibly have, as he is now, John, behind the cut line. Justin Thomas has had one of the tougher starts to a day 2 that you could possibly have after carding the 3 under yesterday. Well, he had a couple of double bogeys in there. He had a number of bogeys. He's now 5 over for the tournament, plus 8 on the round today. Just got himself one back. All right, there we go. Birdie to start the back 9. The charge begins for Justin Thomas back up the leaderboard.
Man, I cannot tell you if I've ever heard a leader day 1 go from leading to miss the cut. And he is right on the cut
right
line
on it now.
Right now. Old boy shot a 45 on the front 9. I know what that feels like. Pros don't know what that feels like. That's unbelievable that that Justin Thomas is dropping like
with a 45,
like the Hindenburg right now. And here's the deal. People just don't understand. It's so hard over there. It's so hard for Americans to go over there and try and play that golf. It's a whole different style of golf. They talk about basketball. You know how they talk about FIBA and how FIBA rolls and the ball and the 3-point shot and everything like that's different than the American game. Very similarly here when it comes to golf. When you go over that pond and you start playing in that wind on those courses with that roll and those bunkers that you can't see because they're speckled out there, little tiny bunkers about the size of a person, about one person. It's not a 2-person bunker. You can't fit 2 people in these things. You can fit 1 person. It's a 1-person bunker. You can't even see it out there, and it's speckled all over the damn place. You could just get unlucky sometimes.
I mean, you just look at some of these scores. Robert McIntyre, winner last week on the PGA Tour, plus 9. Tiger Woods just carded in, and he is done at plus 6 for the day, plus 14 for the tournament.
Yeah.
But still not as bad as Nick's boy Wyndham Clark,
yeah.
plus 16.
I'm not a big fan of Wyndham Clark. And
because of the name? Because he sounds like a credit card?
He has made the cut, I believe, like 4 total times in however many majors he's appeared in. And the only time he's ever finished above 30-something was when he won the U.S. Open last year. And he has not been that great. He had a great U.S. Open last year. He beat Rory, which is funny. He beat Rory by 1 stroke last year, and then Rory loses this year by 1 stroke in a major. Rory can't buy a win in majors. But I believe Wyndham's representing our country in the Olympics. I think he's part of that team. And he's not good at golf.
Yeah, well.
He's not good. I should preface this. I'm not good at golf.
I am not good at golf.
I'm not good at golf. But compared to his peers,
I like that
to his peers, he's not one of the best in the world.
You want to know how bad the can't miss is getting right now? Right?
It's getting bad.
So McIntyre and Fleetwood play their first round, and McIntyre beats Fleetwood in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
And he shoots actually a decent score, 1 over.
Yeah, nice.
McIntyre shoots 8 over today. Fleetwood shoots 4 over today. Fleetwood makes the cut. Fleetwood not only wins the second round, Fleetwood's going to make the cut. McIntyre is going to miss the cut here. So that's just a bad break for the can't miss. It's just unbelievable.
It's brutal. And just wait till we find out what happened last night on the can't miss. It might be even tougher for us. My guy Shane Lowry leading it though. Shane Lowry is one individual that when I do invest on golf, a lot of times like to, because if somebody is going to win the Open Championship, John, and it not be an American, we steal their championship and their claret jug back, which I always appreciate whenever an American does win that. I'd like it to be Shane Lowry because I'd like there to be an Ireland, Scotland battle here. And then maybe he just throws the Irish flag over him as he goes and accepts that victory right now as he sits at 7 under, 2 shots up.
Plus Shane Lowry kind of reminds you of the Irish version of John Daly, right?
Yep.
He's a little bigger.
Yep.
He's got that grizzled look. If you look at sometimes you can see that little circle inside his pocket, right? Everybody knows what I'm talking about there. So, yeah, I mean, I saw him cussing out a cameraman earlier this morning. Told him, hey, I can still see you. If it shoots one, knocks it to the left, it goes into the fest. I can still see you. Just stand behind me if you want. Cusses out cameraman. I mean, he's old school John Daly now. He's tough. He's rugged. Not new school John Daly that withdraws after dropping an 82 yesterday. So
yeah, that's tough.
I'm talking new school.
I feel a little bad. I'm just looking at best and worst days so far today. Aguri Iwasaki,
sure,
who was 3 over after the first round, is plus 20. He's at a plus 17 day today, and he's still going. He's still got the 18th to play.
Good for him finishing out, though. He didn't do like that Roman guy did yesterday, where all of a sudden he swung it,
it's
dumped
over.
it back in. I'm out, man.
I'm done.
I actually look at his round. He's not too bad. He shot a 39 on the front, and he was bogey par on the back until he ran into back-to-back nines. He had a 9 on the par 4 13th, and then a 9 on the par 3 14th.
It's a tough break. So is that a quintuple bogey? And then I don't even know how to go up to 6.
Just doing it
sextuple.
Oh, okay. See, on PGA on the video game, they just call it quad plus. They're like, dude, you just suck so bad. It's more than 4. We're not even coming up with names for that one. But for me, for what our boy Agari just did, would be like me on the high school golf team when they had a rule of 10, right? So if you weren't on the green in 9 shots,
you just got a 10.
You kind of stink. So, or on the green in 8 shots, you put the ball at the furthest part of the green. You putt for a 9, otherwise you get a 10. And I remember walking, I think it was maybe like the 3rd hole, and my golf coach drives up on me, Mr. Austin, Craig Austin, awesome guy. Goes, Billy, thank God for the rule of 10, or we'd be out here all night. Come on, man. It's supposed to be a little motivating here riding around in the car on hole number 3. No, just luckily we're going to get out of here at some decent point because we're going to put that thing up there and you're going to help us win this match because I'm going to catch the other guy cheating. And that's ultimately what happened. I love the fact, though, John, that we have intimate knowledge of this golf course because you've played over there. You were able to talk about just how difficult it is, but the mind mess for Justin Thomas that he had to have been going through as he makes that turn. Now he just hit another birdie. Come on, JT. All right, well, JT.
Okay, so I don't know which way the wind's blowing here yet today, but I do know this. You go out and then you come back. And looking at his scores on the front, it looked like the wind was in a direction not favorable to Justin Thomas going out. Maybe coming back, the wind will be favorable to him, so he's back out at +4 now. So he's got a 2-shot cushion that he could potentially still make the cut. And if this wind's blowing in the right direction, no reason not to think he can't throw a couple more birdies in there.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, good. Justin Thomas is also a guy that maybe just because of his fame, maybe just because he appears on College Game Day like once a year when they go to Alabama, just have this belief that he is up here on the pantheon of golfers. It appears over the last year, he has just continued to fall further and further down that hill to last year where he wasn't even automatic qualifiers for certain things this year.
Yeah, and he probably won't be for the Ryder Cup as well coming into next year. That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah,
it's going to be a tough one to be able to get picked after last year not getting picked. Keegan Bradley, that is, he'll have to do some picking next year. And Justin Thomas still did good in the Ryder Cup. I mean, he's still a Ryder Cup beast. And this is the thing. I look at that young group, the Justin Thomas, the Jordan Spieth, the Ricky Fowlers, and I just, I think to myself, man, these guys, they would be the greatest group to hang out with on a golf course.
Oh yeah.
And have some drinks with, but a lot of their best golf came really fast and was a flash, and then just like that, it's been gone. So, I hate to see guys that look like they're turning into the next big thing fizzle out as quickly as it did. But you mentioned it with John Rahm, very similar here with Justin Thomas on the American side.
Yeah, as quickly as the success can come, it can get dashed right away. And to be able to change mentally how you're feeling about your game, your confidence, that's a dicey spot. And when you're standing all alone, you better be as confident as all hell, because that's the only way you're getting out of it.
So Scotty Scheffler's tied for fourth. He's 5 shots back. But do you see Scotty Scheffler as being one of those Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth types that hot early, real fast? He's got 2 majors. What does he get to, or does he fizzle out as well? Golf has become a young man's game. Guys are winning
Big
majors
time.
now between 20 and 28. You don't see a whole lot of winners in their 30s anymore either.
I would feel a little more nervous about Scotty fizzling out if I would have seen one of those guys in the back of a cop car. This guy's hardened. All right,
Yeah.
this guy's real. And his caddy Ted Scott here today is laying down on the course in between shots because he's so sick while carrying the bag.
Ugh.
Scotty's still like 3 shots off the lead. If this continues, I'm betting him through the weekend to be able to win the tournament, because he's going to win it for him. I mean, he might just have a Jordan flu game just out of sympathy pains. Guy's an absolute savage. 414-799-1973. We'll tap in on a couple more of these horrendous first jobs, or maybe jobs that just taught you everything you need to know about a quality work ethic, perseverance, and lining up how long your bonus lines up are. And then you can go and get another job to make sure that you get that 1 month bonus check, then get the heck up out of Dodge. We'll get into that before hour number 3. Tim Scott has a red hot dive bar review coming up in hour number 3. We got a Coons Can't Miss that's actually going to win coming up here today at 11:15. It's happening. It's all happening with Coon Billy and Nick Brusewitz, 9 to noon on the Game. 9 to noon on the game. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you being a part of the program here today and weighing in like 608 on our conversation of worst summer jobs that you've had. Setting up all the tents at Road America in 90-degree temps, and tents were moldy would just make me sick. The best part was everybody broke the handle on at least one of the sledgehammers. We could get a nice break waiting for the replacements. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, I know what I'd be doing. I'm breaking that sledgehammer. I am wailing that thing until I break the hell out of it. Break time. Everybody cheers.
Sorry, boss.
John did it again. There we go. Celebrated.
What's
One of these, you do this, you do this same poll in 20 years on the radio, which probably won't exist.
Oh, that's a good question.
In 20 years, if radio still exists and we're still doing this, we will probably fall into the same conversation at the same time of year when there's no sports
during
going on.
All-Star break. Yep.
And then somebody will say the worst summer job I ever had was OnlyFans because I did a lot of stuff I probably.
Yeah, and
Can I ask a question about OnlyFans?
Situation one, but yeah, for
is,
sure.
Is it just porn? Is that what it is?
So
I thought
I'm
there
not
was
positive.
Okay. Have you ever partook in OnlyFans before you were married or
no,
anything?
I have
Me
not.
neither.
I have not subscribed.
Nick,
they're pretty quick.
Nick,
Yeah, what's up?
you don't even. You share an apartment at times with your girlfriend, but you don't live with your girlfriend. You mean to tell me you never
Scouted
never
out
looked
time.
at one OnlyFans, not one thing, not one time?
No, hey, you have to pay for it. I mean, that's the tough part about it. Plus, I've never wanted to make an account. Crazy
there's
side
free
story here, though.
opportunity.
Middle of fantasy football season. Come to find out, one of my high school friend's sisters has an OnlyFans. So that was
that
was a
get found
topic of conversation. We got some real sickos in this league.
One
so,
of the league members found the other league member's sister.
It's possible that
he
there
co-starred.
isn't-
it's my buddy, and he's in my fantasy league, and I'm in a fantasy league with my brother who was in this dude's sister's class. So all of his buddies found it.
Okay, all right, got it.
So
okay.
she's about 5 years older than me. It was linked in her Instagram bio.
Oh, okay, yeah. Link in bio.
Check it out.
link
Check
in
it out.
bio.
Let me know what you think.
We popped
Now,
it
how
up
much is she charging?
I think it was like $25.
That's
$25 for a what? For a year?
I think it's a month, man. I think that's how
$25 a month?
That's
yeah,
more
I think
than
that's how it
Netflix.
works, dude. I think that's
Did
how
you-
OnlyFans works.
I mean,
Wow.
what grade? From a 1 to a 10, what would you rate her? growing up?
They're blurred out. I didn't pay for it. They're
No,
blurred.
what would you rate her growing up? She was in high school, a couple
Yeah,
years older
like
than
a
you.
6, dude. Like a 6.
So a 6 is charging $25
a month.
Okay, yeah.
Well, and see, now that's where I've also and I'm glad we're on this conversation. I actually really am.
So
there's
you
an-
threw me on this because of
Yes.
and you'll get into that. So my question was, I always thought OnlyFans was like the cover. It's the cover of, it could be a cover for, hey, there's a lot of people that do OnlyFans and they just take pictures of themselves in dresses, right?
Well,
Sundresses.
Le'Veon
because-
Bell has an OnlyFans. Do you know that?
What?
Yeah. Yeah, he posts about it all the time. As a Steelers fan, and I follow him on Twitter. I see
Okay,
his,
so
what is
subscribe
he
to
pu-
Le'Veon Bell's
I do
OnlyFans
not have
account.
his
Got it. Okay.
OnlyFans.
All right. Interesting.
but he was tweeting about it a couple days ago.
I got the impression that OnlyFans was like, it was a cover. It was a cover based off of a few people that would go on there and use it like Instagram. Okay. You want to see the pictures of me in my sundress? You want
Sure.
to see the picture of me eating a cannoli at the Trevi Fountain? Okay. But you're going to pay for it because these are my fans. These are only my fans. Only fans will see these pictures. So to me, I felt like OnlyFans' purpose was to be a paid for Instagram for people to check out, right?
Sure.
But it feels
like
like
a
based off of-
Patreon kind of deal is
Yes,
what you're
but
describing. Yeah.
is that a different app?
Well, Patreon is like so that's almost, and this is how I know it is from Nagler with like Cheesehead TV, where there be subscriptions to more premium content for like a podcast or
Mhm.
something like that.
Yeah.
Or you then pay to then get invited to a different chat, on a different game broadcast kind of thing like
There are
that.
there are so many deep web things.
It's impressive, John. It's impressive.
No idea about that. I have no
Pages
idea
is also a new thing because that's what Livy Dunn has, where everybody was like, "Oh my God, what is this Pages account?" She goes,
Pages is OnlyFans, but she writes
OnlyFans
stuff.
with not. Well, I don't think so. I
Yeah.
don't believe so. I believe it's more pictures, but there's no explicit content.
Could you imagine? Okay. So that's the thing.
So that's what you're
That's the thing.
describing is
Okay,
kind of
so
what Libby is now
OnlyFans-
doing. Yes.
Yeah, so OnlyFans,
Yeah.
I took it as OnlyFans was trying to start itself and give the impression that it was this, wholesome picture thing, but it's really just turned into
It
porn.
appears so. Yeah, even though there are like random commercials that you get in like ads on social media where it'll be like a young lady and saying like, I am on my OnlyFans page and I've been wanting to do more experimental cooking and like try to phrase it in a different way. We all understand what's happening on that cooking show. I think
Experimental
generally
cooking.
people are saying we understand.
Smoked sausage.
A lot of smoked
Is that what
sausage,
she's
a lot of pancakes, right? Yeah.
Gotcha. Flapjacks.
Flapjacks. Well, maybe not flapjacks, but who
So,
knows?
OnlyFans tried to like cover themselves a couple years ago to try and explain what their
Well,
service was
Skylar-
supposed to be used for.
Our
but
boy
I don't remember
Skylar
what it was.
appears to be very knowledgeable on OnlyFans. He goes, no, it's not only pornography. UFC girls promote themselves on there with workout videos as well. Every subscription goes in prices from 1 month to 3 month to 6 month pricing to a full year subscription, and then probably you end up getting discounts. He goes, lots of girls get close with the standard subscription, like a paid Instagram. Then they want you to pay for each picture that they do exclusive for you. Huh. It's fascinating. I mean, like I've wondered if indeed I started an OnlyFans for the radio show and we just did like a 10 to 12 minute, special pod each and every day that people
Should
were
we
then
do this?
able
Should
to
we get on
subscribe for
OnlyFans
that.
as a show?
I kind of like the idea.
I don't know about posing for individual pictures. I mean, if I get
Only
Tommy in
group shots?
Bayview, asking me to throw up some signs, I don't want to do that.
Could you imagine Armin comes back on August 1st? So what?
Hey, John, this is what I need you to do.
Yeah.
I need you to stand. You're going to be the Y. Billy's going to be the M. Armin's going to be the C. Can you just pull Josh over to be the A? That'd be great for me, man. Thank you.
Bad thing is all I'm hearing is Armin doing his strip club announcing voice. Or coming up on stage now, John Coon for you here for explicit pictures, only $14.99.
So, Nick, what was your impact on the program? Did everything go well? We have an OnlyFans now, by the way, Armin.
Yeah, we
Deal
know
with
it.
it.
We know
We
it
had
on
to sign up
OnlyFans.
with somebody's full, social security number and everything just to make sure it's yours. We use it.
You just left it by your desk, so
Well,
don't
we
worry
thought,
about it.
you got a kid, you could use a couple extra bucks in your pocket.
I don't know if Armin would be that mad if we signed 9 to Noon up for OnlyFans, just 9 to Noon, not Armin Sarian himself, but the show 9 to Noon for OnlyFans. I don't think he'd be pissed. I think he'd be okay with that. He'd
think
be
he'd be
seeing this as
fascinated, yeah.
I think he'd be seeing this as a branching out, an expansion of our brand, our 9 to Noon brand. Now check us out on OnlyFans.
Now, as long as he didn't have
And we
to-
could link that in our bio.
it would be linked in the bio. Yeah, you want to talk about Wisconsin Sports Talk savages? That'd be a real savage move.
It would help us pay
to
for
throw in
X
there.
Premium too.
That's
right?
true.
We could get X Premium for
could
ourselves.
subsidize.
Genius.
Mhm.
Can we get our Only page sponsored? Could that be something that they could sell over in Thailand? Who knows?
Beat your meat.
This all
Beat your meats.
I mean, it's the perfect sponsor. It is the
That's
absolute
That's
perfect
gotta be like the
sponsor.
perfect sponsor. Yeah, it is kind of fair. Holy cow. We get this story because as we're getting back onto the air, former star of Sopranos. Now I'm gonna mess up her
John, you pronounce it.
Just say De Matteo.
De Matteo, but no, she was married to Nick in Sopranos, correct?
Okay, I forget her character's name. I haven't watched
Right.
The Sopranos
And
in 20 years.
Air,
so I'll look it up real quick.
but people that know The Sopranos understand who we're talking about here.
Okay. She was Adriana Lacerda.
Adriana. I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
say Angelica. I knew that wasn't right. All right, Adriana. All right, but her she
married
now-
to Christopher Moltisanti.
Christopher Moltisanti. How did I say Nikki? You would have just thought everybody else was named Nikki in The Sopranos. There are a lot of Nickies.
That's why mom calls me.
There are a lot of Nickies in The Sopranos. Nick, you might want to check it out. But she was on a podcast, the Not Today Pal podcast, where she opened up with former stars of the show, John, that, yeah, her 13-year-old son, Waylon, otherwise known as Blackjack, is her photo editor on her OnlyFans page.
He's got an eye for detail.
And this is where it gets weird.
She began talking about doing girl-on-girl content for her page and began apologizing to her teenage kids that were just outside.
And that's where she got me. Right when she said, girl on girl. I mean, I
Then
just
you're
assumed
vaccinated.
I just assumed your 13-year-old son named Blackjack editing your photos because he's a lot better, with the aperture and everything else that you can set on the thing. But no, it's because you're doing actual scenes. So it is porn. It's always been porn.
my
Always
God.
will be porn.
She did clarify that her kids don't see the girl on girl content, but
How
she
does he
did
edit
give
the
them a
photos?
heads up before putting it out. I was like, "Are you okay with this?" She recalled, because if I do it in a movie, I would be with the girls all day. But then her son just goes, "Yeah, Mom, that's fine. But what do you want me to do with the bikini line right here? I get that out." Wow, talk about
Are these
family
these yours
business.
or hers? Whose bottoms are these? I can't do this anymore.
Is that not a perfect age though? 13. He's got his eyes on everything, right?
He's learning a
locked
lot.
in.
That
He's
kid
like
is learning
trying
a
to,
lot. Wow.
every detail is exciting.
Yeah, but he's got. But
Wow.
he's trying to only see one half of this pyramid that's going on right now.
Oh my goodness. Brad and Sheboygan. Here, I thought Josh, Billy, and Russ Douglas only lost all that weight to start an OnlyFans account. Might work out. 9 to noon might be coming to OnlyFans near you. Definitely coming back on the other side with hour number 3 and a Coons Can't Miss. That we could be selling on OnlyFans. Coons Can't Miss feature every single day on the 9 to noon OnlyFans. Oh, it's all happening here in hour number 3. Going to be our best one yet right after this. This works. Yeah, definitely. Good work, Nick Brusewitz.
Nick is growing. Young grasshopper is growing, and he is growing and blossoming. It is very fun to watch in this producer role here for Arm. Nick actually said to us earlier, I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. The phone's ringing too much. I can't answer multiple lines. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my hands here. I could see that was such a great moment getting to watch you behind that board grind and go crazy. It's like a crash course here on 9 to noon for you.
He's battling, though, and he's continuing to get better. That's all we ask, that you get 1% better every day, and you're absolutely doing that.
The first day I filled in during the Sunburn Bowl with Drew and KB, they had a giveaway, and KB's question was impossible. So there was like 15 calls.
I can only imagine what different type of silverback gorilla the answer was.
It was brutal. And, I'm trying to do Hunter's system is to type the things so they can read it on the screen.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And Drew,
and he's got it down to an absolute
and I'm making
science.
it up. And it's like, Mike in Green Bay? No, this is Brian in West Dallas. Oh, sorry. I typed them in the wrong order, Drew.
Well, I think safely assume you have never played WAP on the Mike Heller Show.
I have not, and I'm actually really surprised it's in the system here.
Absolutely.
I wasn't sure how you could do it.
We get it popping.
Come on, this is 9 to noon. The algorithm is different here.
So there was a Kids Bop version of that song, I believe, and I swear.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. There's some things that maybe you shouldn't kidify, right? Like the song "Bad and Bougie" has a tie-in to Sid the Science Kid, which is like a animated show, and somehow the mashup of the song is perfect with their intro video. But it's one of those that maybe we should keep things off to. Maybe we should keep some things safe. Keep some things safe. 414-799-1973.
I think I might have found it. There's some doors in this house.
Oh wow!
I said certified beat. 7 days a week, water bottle, make them pull. I don't know if this is
I
real.
don't think we should. Yeah,
I'm not sure if this is real.
Safely stay.
I might have been bamboozled by the internet.
And
guys.
instead, we just go back into our OnlyFans conversation of how we're going to start that, or we could. Like some people are asking us on the NicoletLaw.com talking text line. You guys talk some sports? All right, well, here's your information. Here's your news on the day. Adam Schefter reporting the Minnesota Vikings have signed 10th overall pick J.J. McCarthy to a 4-year fully guaranteed contract of $21.85 million, includes $12.71 signing bonus and a 5th-year team option. There's your news. So now all the quarterbacks in the division are signed, right, John? We already know Jordan Love's under contract. We're waiting for the bigger signing, but Caleb Williams' deal was the one that everybody was making a bigger deal about. And here, J.J. McCarthy was the last to actually end up signing for the first-round picks in the division.
Yeah, interesting stuff there. Not exactly sure exactly what they were fighting over.
I never understand. I don't get it.
With Caleb Williams, I saw his contract is fully guaranteed. He got a fully guaranteed contract, which good for him to pull that one off. And I think that's going to be the way now. I think that's going to be the standard now with some of these first round picks. You're going to strive for that. I don't know. Did JJ McCarthy, I can't imagine, got a fully guaranteed.
No, it like half of it. I think it was 20. Yeah. I think it was 12 million of the 20 some was guaranteed. The other thing that apparently Caleb Williams had been sticking with in the negotiations was trying to build in language of a no tag clause in his contract.
Did he get that?
He did not get that.
I was going to say that's a big ask.
It's a big ask.
If you sometimes now you don't know what these agents and these players are going to come out and ask for. If you don't ask, you don't get it.
Oh, that's
if you
fair.
Don't ask, you never get it. I mean, see, hey, I applaud you for trying, and I actually applaud him for not taking this into some sort of holdout scenario where you go into training camp your rookie year and you're holding out because you're waiting for this no tag clause. Now, I would fight for a no tag clause. That would be reasonable. But then every team says, okay, well, let's see you not show up to camp here, Rook. And he backs down and he signs it. So I think, hey, cooler minds prevailed on that one. Now it's Jordan Love's deal. Now it's Jordan Love's time to go. And, he doesn't have a no tag, so they could potentially tag him.
Maybe he inks it.
I'm still not worried. I'm still not worried. But you called Wednesday D-Day, Billy, and deal day did not get done.
Nope, didn't happen. So now, John, what is happening is 9:20 Monday morning. Brian Gutekunst has his season opening presser going into training camp. Just announce it there. Maybe they just flare us. Hey, we're going to be there about 10 minutes early. All of a sudden, Jordan walks in. Simultaneous tweet out.
Yeah.
massive 5-year, $200 and something million contract.
It'd be
Or-
pretty cool if they just slipped it in, just like in conversation. And we got our deal done with Jordan.
Yeah, we
That's
just
all
inked it.
said,
Don't worry about it.
You know, and so we can just focus now. Wait, what do you mean you got the deal done with Jordan?
Because otherwise, John, Monday morning that is going to be the A, B, C, E, and F topic, right? I mean, we'll squeeze some other stuff in there that people want to ask the GM about, but you only get to talk to him 6-7 times a year. And with this still dangling right out in front of him, that's going to be a master class in deflection. It must be from Brian Gutekunst to be able to dip, dodge, and dive away from the contract conversation that's going to be flared up with the media coming up on Monday morning.
Yeah, this is the conversation that's going to be had
But he's a
until the extension is signed. Jordan Love does not miss practice. These are my predictions. These are just predictions, okay? Jordan Love does not miss practice Monday. Jordan Love does not miss practice Tuesday. Jordan Love doesn't miss any of the practices. Jordan Love rolls right up until the 11th hour before the first preseason game and signs his deal. That's what I think is going to happen. I think this thing's getting done right before the first preseason game because I don't think anybody around here wants to mess with the karma that we have had for the last, let's call it, 9 months, because it was the second half of the season last year that we started to tear, and then everybody's feeling good. Everybody's got happy feels. Everybody's got good vibes. We got a new defensive coordinator, a couple new players, a new running back, a new safety, some new rookies that look to help us out as well. We have the cheapest offense in the National Football League. We don't need to be the cheapest offense anymore. Let's put some money to this quarterback position. Let's bump up to about, I don't know, what a Jordan Love's contract is going to push us to, maybe 16th in the league, and then we can start moving on and moving forward. I don't think anybody wants to mess anything up. This is not going to go into the preseason games, and if it does, that's when I'm going to start to say, okay, we might play this thing out. You can have good vibes with that, but it is a distraction.
Would the preseason game or that first joint practice be even more of another line of demarcation? I guess it also depends on if the plan is for them to play in the preseason. I was listening to award-winning Zabe and Butch in the morning when they had Wayne Larrivee on earlier on this morning. And Zabe was kind of pressing Wayne of how many series are they going to play? How much are they going to play? When are they going to play? And there's no exact science with the 3 games, right? Like there's no benchmark, John, of you play 1 series in the first game, you play a quarter in the second game, and then you play a half in the third game, and then you don't play in the fourth game. Teams are all over the place as to where.
But we're playing the Eagles. Okay, we are playing the Eagles. The Eagles don't have Kelsey anymore, but the Eagles are still you're talking about Saquon now on the Eagles. The Eagles are real. That's a real football team that we are playing week 1 down there in Brazil. This isn't the Chicago Bears from last year. No offense to anybody that's Chicago Bears. I think the Bears are, and I said this last year, I thought their defense was going to be better. I think their offense is going to be better this year. This year's Bears team is going to be better than last year's Bears team, especially at the beginning of the season last year. They weren't very good.
Yeah.
We are not playing that version of a football team. What we saw week 1 last year, and we rolled our guys out a lot in the preseason last year because they were young. You're not going to be able, and remember who won that game for us? Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones. He's not here anymore. So you're going to have to play the guys in the preseason this year. Once again, you're not going to be able to take it off because you're not going to be able to bank on just 1 year of experience with this young offense, with Jeff Hafley, fresh and new with the defense. You're going to have to play this team in the preseason if you expect early dividends against the Eagles, against some of the teams at the beginning of the schedule.
But again, and this is where the point is. Like, I don't know what makes it more advantageous. Is it more advantageous for them to be playing in game 2 and 3 and be closer to that kickoff game? Or is the final work really going to be for that group going to be that final joint practice, which is 2 days before the third preseason game, and then the Baltimore Ravens come in? Like the structure of where those joints in there as well, I wonder if play into what their decision making.
I think the joint practices are going to be very important. The one with Denver, the one with Baltimore. I think they're both going to be pivotal in the growth of this football team. But those games, you cannot, even joint practices. Joint practices are fantastic. They're better than practicing against your own team. And definitely an amp up in energy. But they're not games. You're going to have to get that game experience. If I'm Matt LaFleur, I am playing Jordan Love. I am playing the starters a first quarter. Then I'm going to play them probably the first half of each of the second, game 2 and game 3. I mean, He might not do the first half in game 2 and game 3. He might dial it down in one of those 2 games. But I feel confident Matt LaFleur is going to play the starters at least a quarter in one of the games, at least a half in another game, and they're at least going to play some in the third game. I just don't know what order he's going to do it in.
Yeah, because I'm thinking last year, the third preseason game was the home game against Seattle, and that was a noon boom. And Seattle didn't play any of their starters. Drew Lock played almost the entire game, and then something called Holton Ahlers came in for the last series and almost led the Seahawks down for a game-winning touchdown. Like, it was a remarkable, the dude was as cold as you possibly could be, and then he's like, all right, 1 second, and ends up throwing a goal line interception there towards the end of Benny Sapp for that game. But Jordan Love played a good amount, threw the ball 15 times in that final game last year. I wonder where the structure ends up coming. And they have decisions, albeit I don't think they're stressing about the backup quarterback position or decision as much as some might believe, right? Like, I think they're going to be able to get the answer to Michael Pratt or Sean Clifford. They don't need that to be one gets one half, one gets the other in the third preseason game against Baltimore at home, the only home preseason tilt to answer that question. They're going to be more tuned up, John, to getting the number one offense in, and to see 8 throws against the Patriots. It might be more of a buildup. You just don't see any teams having it down pat necessarily as to what the structure is, what the order of the games are. But we are seeing a little bit more, I think, leaning towards seeing Andy Reid play Pat Mahomes every single preseason. That people are like, well, yeah, Sean McVay is great. They've won one, no doubt about it. I'm going to go with what Andy Reid is doing if it's going to be copycat league. And he hasn't wavered from what his belief is on the preseason. They've continued to go every year.
Even more, no 2 teams are alike, right? I mean, we talk about coaching strategies, and that a lot of it boils down to the players, right? It's about the players. So you have to judge it. I mean, does Jair Alexander need to play in the preseason? Probably not with where he's at in his career. But boy, I'd like to, if I'm a coach, I'd like to see him get a series or 2 in this new defense, just so that you have a little bit of continuity with everybody else that's out there. You're going to be playing the rookies regardless,
right?
And you're going to start 2 rookies in that defense, at least 2 rookies in that defense, in my opinion, right? Bullard and Cooper, I believe, are going to start in that thing. So, I mean, you don't just want, you want this cohesion, you want the continuity, you want the guys to be playing together. So you run them all out there together.
Run them all out there. Run over to Potawatomi Sportsbook, because more importantly, although training camp practice starts on Monday, football does not start quite yet. What does start here tonight? Baseball investing, and we got a pick for you to be able to cash in on.
No better place to make your way down and watch a little bit of baseball now that the baseball is starting back up than at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Sportsbook. 2,000 square foot LED screen, along with a full bar with food and beverage service, and just about anything else you might want watching any sporting event. It's the game atmosphere without actually being at the game. And that's what we do here on the Can't Miss, brought to you by Potawatomi Sportsbook, a new era in sports betting. And yesterday we picked a tough one. We picked the Summer League game. We picked the Lakers versus the Cavs Summer League. And without even knowing one thing about anybody in Summer League other than Bronny James, we said, let's make this bet simple. Let's make a 50-50, even or odd. We picked an odd score. It came out even. That's how bad it's been on this Can't Miss. We picked Tommy Fleetwood the day before to take out McIntyre. Didn't take him out. Tommy Fleetwood's making the cut. McIntyre isn't, but he lost the first day. That's how bad the Can't Miss has been. But this is what we're going to do now. We're going to pick with our heart and not with our head, because sometimes you got to change some things up. And the Milwaukee Brewers are 4.5 games up on the St. Louis Cardinals. It wouldn't be bad for them to start out the second half of the baseball season losing their first series. And luckily for us, they're taking on the Atlanta Braves. So I'm going to pick the Atlanta Braves in a series winner in the series market. So Atlanta Braves, 2 out of 3 in this thing. You guys win. That's what I'm picking. It's over the weekend. I got enough days to cover this before we get back on Monday. Atlanta Braves to win the series versus the St. Louis Cardinals this weekend. That's my pick. Can't miss.
I love it. And let's extend a little bit more cushion between the Brewers and those Cardinals. Get a W. Feel a whole lot better about it with the Atlanta Braves. enjoying themselves some victories, and oh, by the way, enjoying themselves some break because their pitching staff had a couple of guys they're celebrating the All-Star break with Chris Sale and Ronaldo Lopez. So I like that one right out of the gates. 414-799-1973. All right, we'll take a quick timeout. On the other side, it's the return of our dive bar review. It's the return of the leader of the dive bar club. That's our guy, Red Hot Tim Scott. They got shirts, they got jackets. More importantly, he's got a dive bar review for you with our friends at Miller High Life coming up on the other side. He's John Kuhn. I'm Billy Schmid. Nick Brusewitz in here as well. It's 9 to noon, statewide on the Game. We got all winners. If you're listening to 9 to Noon, Nooners are all winning when John Kuhn, Billy Schmidt, and Nick Brusewitz sitting in doing a bang-up job for our guy Armin Sari and out on paternity leave. It's great work.
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
Red Hot Tim Scott, you were able to communicate with our adorable Armenian.
Yes. I said, how's it going? And he said, we're hanging in there.
We're hanging in there.
We're hanging in there, yes.
Surviving as well. John and I joked about it. He sent me a podcast recommendation today. And if you know Armin and he's listening to a podcast, means he's quite bored and needs something to do.
He's super
so bored. He's so bored.
He is so bored. Mm-hmm.
God bless him, though.
Well,
we know that
we were texting this morning because we're building the new studios.
Mm-hmm.
And he is the man behind the Packers Radio Network. So I have to get some insight from Armin.
Well, he's quite nervous too.
Yeah,
he's excited. He's very, very excited. Very, very nervous. Yeah, him and I shared a couple of back and forths, and good to hear from. Great to hear from Red Hot Tim Scott. Even better when it means that Toby Keith is with us on a Red Hot dive bar review. Back in the saddle again. A road trip for this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Remember a couple of years ago we took the RV and we did that dive bar review from Ace High in Golden, Colorado.
Yeah, you were out there on that old. You were running with some biker gangs on that trip, weren't you? You were out there at Sturgis.
Yes. Well, no, we were in Golden, Colorado. That's where we were at. Yeah, we kind of went that way on the way out. It's funny you mentioned biker gangs because this one, we actually on our way to the dive bar. We're in Madison, Ohio. And on the way to Madison, Ohio, we drive by, and I kid you not, I was like, what? It's real. A Hell's Angels clubhouse.
All right, here we go.
All these bikes are parked out front, and I looked up and I went, "That's real."
That's it.
It's the Hell's Angels clubhouse right there outside of Madison, Ohio. So we were down in Madison, Ohio. Why? We took the RV. We were RVing again.
Soaking up some sun.
But this time, it was a Sunburn Boulders run. We had Jason and Carrie, former MVP, John and Monica. She just survived cancer, which is awesome.
Love that. Yes.
So we got all together in the Hortonville's finest, and we went down and saw the reigning MVP, Mike from Madison, Ohio.
I love that.
His lovely wife, Mel. They had booked us a campground on the shores of Lake Erie. They have, there's like about a dozen of them that have spots in this campground, right? So we pull into the campground on the shores of Lake Erie, and in the background, it looked like the opening of The Simpsons. There is a nuclear power plant chugging away in the background of the campground.
Nothing says like the great outdoors. There we go.
So I was like, what? Okay. But here's the coolest thing, Billy. I know that there are still places in America that are special. So in this campground, they have a playground area for the kids, right?
Mm-hmm. Love that.
They have a baseball diamond for the Little League kids.
Perfect.
In this area. And they have, John, you'll love this. They have a full court basketball court with square backboards and chain nets.
Wow, this is taking the horseshoe court that I was expecting him to say, John and Tane. Hold my beer.
Yeah.
The greatest campground around.
Nets.
Wow.
I
like chain nets.
I love chain nets.
They last a lot longer.
Mm-hmm. And the sound they make.
Jingle, jingle versus whoosh.
Well, they were banned, though, remember? Because kids were cutting their hands and stuff on them.
Yeah, but I mean,
tell them not to dunk. That is,
dunk.
We're gonna.
Learn a finger roll.
Are you kidding me? We're gonna
American,
We're gonna ban chain nets because kids are cutting themselves on it. I mean, what's next?
Well, you can't mark in red pen anymore.
Are you gonna get rid of playgrounds? Are you gonna get rid of playgrounds when they fall off? And get a splinter?
Just about.
I don't know. I was like, wow. They still exist.
They're still around somewhere. I got to get to the campground here.
There you go. So they, Mike and Mel and their friends took us to a dive bar. And the dive bar is in Madison, Ohio. Shocking, I know.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the 528 Tavern in Madison, Ohio. Here's the history. Met a great guy named Rob, who was a friend of the group. And he was telling us a story, John, about for a long time, it was a private club to get in.
That's what I'm talking about.
And it cost $1 to get in. It was a private club called Nays Club back in the day. And what Rob remembers about this is a story that he shared after his grandfather passed away. Rob was young. He was underage, but his dad and Rob, after Grandpa's funeral, went to then Nays Club and drank to 4 o'clock in the morning, hoisting, toasting in remembrance of Grandpa, which I thought was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Nothing like a beer when you ain't 21 yet.
So Madison, Ohio, is a real small town, really tiny town. This is the center spot, is when we go to a lot of dive bars, right?
Sure.
Mhm.
Yep.
This is the center spot of this community. The big community boosters. They do a lot for the local high school football team.
I love that.
Like, there's usually a place that you go to after games.
I was going to say this sounds like the coach's spot after a game.
Yeah.
Win or loss.
Triangle
Win or lose,
tap.
we still booze.
Triangle tap for
Yep,
us.
100%.
For us back in the day in Wanakee, it was the Wanna Bowl. So this is where people go after the high school football games. They watch the Buckeyes, they watch the Browns, they watch the Guardians in this place. It's an indoor-outdoor. So it has a really nice
little
indoor
patio,
setting,
okay.
but then it has an outdoor setting as well. I said, so what are you known for? What kind of food do you have in your menu? And we took a bunch of pictures. Armin, I brought him out of retirement. Help Billy, because remember, we're kind of trying to figure out how to crack the code.
There we go, Armin.
Yes. So Armin was not working. He was helping out for the cause. So the
Not
photos
working,
are up.
no. Not working.
He was not working,
iHeart.
but
Calm
photos
down.
are up at 9 to noon on X. But they're really known for their chicken. That's what they're known for. The Cajun chicken chunks, John, apparently that's what everybody comes in to get. The Cajun chicken chunks.
Okay.
Chicken
I like
and
that,
things. We did wings. Rob and his wife had their own off-the-menu secret sauce.
This is what I love about Tim. He's going
Whoa.
to tell you what this place is known for, and then he's going to get the closest thing to it, but not it.
No.
The Cajun
Someone
chicken chunks,
adjacent.
I didn't do the
They're-
Cajun chicken chunks.
they're known for the Cajun chicken chunks.
Didn't do it.
I got the wings.
Yeah, got the wings.
Great.
Yeah,
close enough.
I didn't do the Cajun chicken chunks. I did the wings. And they had Rob and his wife had a special secret off the menu sauce that they do when they come in.
That's impressive.
And it was a barbecue with a Cajun rub. So it's kind of a
Okay.
different mix.
Oh, wow.
So
So
you
even
got
even
Cajun
closer to
chicken wings.
Yeah,
instead of
yeah,
Cajun
I didn't
chicken
do the
chunks.
chicken chunks. I did the wings. All right. So
Sounds like you just wanted bone in out instead
yeah,
of
hey,
boneless.
you know what? I was
Sounds
a
like a
newbie
power
here.
move,
I was
yeah.
just rolling with the group. That's what I was doing. All right. Daily happy hour specials, which is awesome. They have a pool table. They have 9 TVs, pull tabs where you can play the Ohio K Lottery.
They got
and,
$1,000 winners here.
Put in the usual, what did we do this time? 25, and we pulled out 2. So my bad luck with pull tabs continues, whether I'm in state or out of state. But one of the cool things, John, I don't know if you've seen this before. I think I have a version of this, but they have a game on the wall. It's cards that are mounted on the wall. It's called Queen of Hearts. Okay. And every Wednesday you come in and you can pay and to have a card. Okay.
Okay.
And every Wednesday they pick a number corresponding with the card. So you can't see the card, right?
Okay.
So if it's the Queen of Hearts, you win the cash amount and it rolls over, right?
We're talking.
So when we were in there, it was Saturday. So we had missed that previous Wednesday, but no one had gotten it. It was $10,000.
All right.
Okay.
So this is in Madison, Ohio.
So we bought in. So we bought in for the next Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
So we didn't hit 2 weeks ago Wednesday. Okay.
So what's it at now?
So going into this Wednesday, 2 days ago, it was $11,500.
All right. This is gonna have to be a trip.
So
that I made.
this group, Mike from Madison, Ohio, and all of his friends, they go in every Wednesday to do the chicken chunks and wings.
better believe it,
And play
yes.
the game, right? So one of the people that hangs in Mike's group, a lovely lady named Annette, and very outgoing, bubbly person, drank a few cocktails with her over the weekend.
Here we go.
Annette, Wednesday, picked the Queen of Hearts, and she walked out of there
Let's
with the
go, Annette.
$11,500.
Wow, just
Big
saved me
pull.
a
That's a
7
big
hour and
pull,
35-minute
yes.
drive.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're about to take that hike.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was
Yes,
about to grab a Comrex and I was about to try to do this show live from the 528 Tavern on Wednesday.
So congratulations to
good for
Annette.
you, Annette.
She scored $11,500 at the 528 Tavern in Madison, Ohio.
That's electric.
What a run it was.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Great bar, great service. Service, I give it a 1.5. Food, I sent Armin a picture of the full menu. Their menu, they got everything under the sun.
Pretty impressive right now.
1.5 for that. The atmosphere, I loved it because you could go indoors or they had a full bar service outside. They also had a small stage. They have bands from time to time that play there. That was a 1.5. Price, not really dive bar pricing, but
Sure.
it's okay if you have a good time. I'm going to give them a 1 for that. Entertainment, they had everything you want. They had the pool tables, they had the TVs, they had the pull tabs, and they had the Queen of Hearts game. That you
Yeah.
could score some serious cash. So that's a
That's up there.
1.5.
Yeah.
So if I did my math right without Armin, I come in with a score of a 7 for the 528 Tavern in Madison, Ohio.
Yeah, you would have hit that 1,000. It would have had to have been a perfect 10.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
It would've
I don't know
changed-
how it
that
would've
would have changed the
Yes.
scores a lot.
Yes.
That would've changed a lot.
Gracious.
We've got
Yeah.
pictures too from Mike in Madison, Ohio, coming in of Tim in front of the.
It looked like
nuclear
amazing-
smokestacks.
That's what I'm talking about.
Amazing
Okay.
weather to take in a power plant.
It was. It was a
Beautiful
beautiful
weather.
day.
Yeah.
I actually, during the trip, we were it's about 20 miles, 25 miles south of Cleveland.
Sure.
So one of the days I did roll into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and made tribute to my boys.
Atta baby. Yeah.
AC/DC.
As you
Yes, I
dang
did.
well should. Now I got to ask you about this picture that we're getting from Mike in Madison,
Oh
Ohio.
God, which
That's
picture
like
is this?
that's like my favorite shirt that I've ever seen. Tim Scott rocking a shirt that said, "I'm the best thing my wife ever found on the internet."
It's true.
I need to get
It's
me one of those
absolutely
things.
true.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Man, this looks like just a root toot and good time. We're proud of you.
It was fantastic.
Red Hot.
Got together with the Sun Bowlers and did their thing. You know what? But a Hell's Angel.
How many sunburned bowlers convened in this thing?
I think there was probably 10 of us
Did
that
you
were there.
you used up the entire parking spots that were at this campground?
No, this is their usual spot. And then so we took 2 couples with us in the RVs. We rolled south.
Okay.
Yeah. So and by the way, the best part for me, well, not the best part, one of the best parts, I can drink Yingling again.
Ooh, that is a good one. Yeah, that is a good one.
John knows a little bit about that.
Well, those being those Yingling lights was something, John, that I did not know. I was unfamiliar with Yingling's game that they had a light when that was brought
I'm
to
not a big
us.
fan. I'm a more lager guy.
Okay, yeah, I was a fan of those that got brought to us at Nooner Day 5, John.
Let's just say a
Yeah,
couple.
they're fine. They're good. They're good. Yingling lagers, I like better.
That's
Good
the
thick
bottom.
one, yeah.
that
Let's
one,
just
so-
say that the Class A RV was much appreciated. We moved up because a lot of space in there.
There we
You can
go.
put a
Well,
few,
I hope
you
so.
can
Yeah,
put 2
yeah.
extra cases in there on the way
Well,
back.
I
That's what
hope
I'm
so.
talking about.
You had a couple other couples in there. You had 6 people in that RV this time.
We
It
did.
got a little
Yes, we
crowded.
did.
All
Couple
right.
elbows and
It was good.
So, Tim, I'm new into the camper game. I'm trying to dip my toe into it. I stayed in the
Right.
camper for the first time over the 4th of July weekend.
Mm-hmm.
What does everybody do while you're driving? And there's no seatbelts in there. That was the biggest issue that I
That's-
had throughout.
I
it.
love that about campers, Billy. RVs, they are the greatest. You're sitting around a table, you're
It's
playing
cool in it.
cards, you're hanging
Yeah.
out. Yeah, it's so nice.
We had a cribbage game was going on around the table.
It's outstanding.
A couple of the wives were going back and forth.
Mhm.
I think that Monica, as I said, the cancer survivor, she
Yes.
needed to rest, so she was able to just go to the
Lay
back,
down, take a nap.
stretch out in the queen size bed in the back. It was glorious.
So then, do you ride no co-pilot?
No. I drive. I don't
Right.
let anybody drive but me.
Correct, but nobody's
driving that RV,
Nope,
but
they
Red
don't.
Hot
Damn
Tim
right.
Scott.
for
Yeah,
me.
that's what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
Red Hot.
Okay.
Because that's one thing.
Jason wanted to, but I said no.
Because it helps when we're coming back from Green Bay and Drew Olson. He is one of the better co-pilots you could have because he's staying awake the whole time. You're rolling up there with no co-pilot. You're just cruising, no issues.
Kuhn, you know Jason, okay?
Yeah.
He was my co-pilot for much of the trip.
Okay, good.
I love him like a brother, but on the way back, he's been talking to me for like 9 hours.
Okay.
And we dropped him and his lovely wife off, and my wife hops into the co-pilot seat now because we got to drive the rest of the way
Well,
home.
you know, most people like to have somebody
Yeah.
talking to them.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what
but
I
not
thought.
the
John.
same damn person for 9 hours.
Why? What's wrong with it?
I thought that was a
What's wrong
good
with
thing. I thought that was a good
I
thing, John.
kid. He's a great guy.
Seems like it.
He's an
Yeah,
awesome
no,
dude. He's an
guy.
awesome
That
dude.
is so
Yeah.
good. Well, we appreciate it. That's a
There you go.
fantastic
I'm
one.
gonna tell you right now.
We gotta
I
get on
feel
one of these
I
trips.
feel perfectly comfortable saying either me driving or riding, passenger.
Oh, I'd
there
love to do a
with you in
roadie
the
with
front
you,
of that.
Kuhn. Let's
Be
go.
awesome.
I guarantee you, for 9 hours, we're gonna talk and be just fine. There won't be one. You won't think for 1 minute, man. I
wish you would
wish
shut
you'd
up. and
Shut
leave.
up.
Imagine
shut up and
Kuhn,
get outta here.
imagine Kuhn if you were driving and Armin was sitting as your
That'd be fun.
wingman. and for 9 hours.
As long as Armin's not driving, we're all going to
Well,
be okay.
I just start playing the game. What can I get Armin to talk about that he doesn't want to talk about? That's the game I would play. What makes Armin uncomfortable? Let's do this.
There you go.
All right. Tell me about these Snapchats you send to Billy O'Fleur. I really need to know more details.
Even better, it's not Steinman, so it works
Freak.
out.
There you go.
Well, Red Hot, fantastic work.
Check
on the
it out.
Dive Bar review.
I'll next time I'll stay in state. All right.
Okay, well, and then next time you go out of state, maybe we all go. I mean,
You know
it's
what?
A 9 to noon
I got
excursion.
a great idea, Kuhn. 2 weeks, we're all together up in Green Bay for the week, right?
Yeah.
You find us a dive bar. Let's do a collective Billy dive bar run one night after
love that.
practice.
We do this every year.
Let's
It's been
do
done
it.
every year.
Yeah, I know.
Let's do it again.
Oh, I guess
Book it.
I guess I'm finally inviting myself. That's it. So okay. All right, I got
That's
it.
what's going on.
That's how it works. That's Red Hot Tim Scott. This is 9 to noon on a full bag dive bar review. John Kuhn, Billy Schmidt, Nick Bruce. Let's wrap it up next on the game. 9 to noon on the game. Round third, head for home. Jocko filling in for Mike Heller one more day here as Heller's extended vacation, a fantastic one to roll through. He will start up with me at Packers training camp coming up on Monday as summer vacation then ends, and then we get into 6 weeks of football before the real football begins, and then the Packers take on the Philadelphia Eagles in Sao Paulo, Brazil, coming up in September. But John, throughout the break and throughout the day, we've been asking some questions about summer jobs. We've been tiptoeing around, and I had some fun grounding people for the first time in my life with the airport outage today. This Windows or Microsoft crash is insane. People in Las Vegas are not being able to enjoy their casinos or golf courses right now because of this crash. I mean, goodness gracious, you fly to the desert, you think, I'm going to get into the heat, play some golf. Can't do it. All right, well, might as well just escape it. Go into the casino, go lose some money. Can't do it. Well, I guess I'm just going to sit in my room. This is going to be the least amount of fun I'm ever going to have in Las Vegas. This is a wild, wild day to be alive in this
go for a walk
country. Yeah, it doesn't sound like fun. No,
go for a walk in Las Vegas. It's only 130 degrees out there.
Come
Nick.
on.
No.
So, which one are they taking down right now? Mirage?
Yeah, they're going to
go
be
check out the Mirage.
Closed it down. Yeah, close it down. They're going to re-landscape that whole thing. Throw
You
up
a big walker, Nick?
big old guitar.
walker?
I've been known to go for walks from time to time. Not necessarily something that I would do on my own, but if I'm there with somebody, I always
so if
feel
your girlfriend
obliged.
asks you to go for a walk, you'll go.
Basically,
Yeah,
that's
what I heard.
And
Yeah.
tells him he's going for a walk. He does it.
And the 2 times I went to Las Vegas, I was either too young to be in the casinos or with someone that was too young to be in the casinos. Student trips, right? Where I
Sure.
was 21 and my broadcast partner wasn't yet.
You should have left him in the room.
A lot of walking.
Yeah.
I went, it was the most recently, it was, my friend Chrissy was there with me on the broadcast trip. So,
Nice. There we go. Sweet.
She actually got kicked out of a casino. They're like, hey, you're not old enough.
You're not old enough to be here. You're going to have to get out.
So
of
yeah,
here.
a lot of walking the strip.
And
then
picking up trading
Belmont,
cards.
right? Belmont Street, is that what it's called?
Fremont Street.
Fremont.
Yeah.
That was
Well,
close.
you luckily were able to pick up all those trading cards. Now, those could also be, John, if you're talking about one of the worst summer jobs, I don't know if that would be a summer job for some of those individuals that are handing out the card. Just throwing all the different 900 numbers into your hands.
Mhm.
But throughout the day, we've just seen airport closures. We've seen golf course closures. We've seen casino closures. I just revel in the fact that with all of these tech issues, somehow the iHeart Megaplex unscathed today. Rather unscathed today. We had one quick issue. We're working through it here. But I mean, that's a big win for the program, for us to be able to fight through and battle this breakdown technologically.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. I'm pretty impressed with us.
Southwest doesn't have the latest software, so they aren't having
That
any
works.
problems. So they're benefiting from being behind the times.
See, that's like the people that don't get the newest iPhone, right? As we are all dealing with bugs and stuff like that. They're like, I haven't updated in 5 years, dummies, and I have
And
never
iPhone
had a
9, it's
problem.
awesome.
Yeah. So I guess Southwest is the big winner today by being behind the times. Some of our stuff here is not
And
necessarily
sometimes
the
it
newest
pays.
version.
That would be the easiest way
Yeah,
to put it.
sometimes it pays not to have fancy stuff. I mean, for real, you
Yeah.
don't need to have the fanciest stuff all the time.
Our Windows 8 is really helping us out here today.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Windows
it is a
8,
big W for the program for us to be able to fight back with, the 10, 12-year-old software.
If any of the Adobe stuff goes down ever, I think we'll be all right because we got their originals.
Yes, we have the OG platform. This one you can absolutely fix. They know everything about fixing it. It's going to be okay. We were just bouncing back and forth as the NFL continues with teams and groups getting checked into training camps. John, maybe like the weirdest story that I've read, just the headline of, and then got so intrigued, I read multiple articles about it. Lamar Jackson is suing in the midst of an appeal suit, Troy Aikman for not, any kind of different properties, things like that, for the number 8.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize John, my naivete, I didn't realize you could trademark numbers. You can trademark legitimately anything in America. And these two are now going back and forth over how they're spelling the number 8, how they're selling things with the word 8 spelled out. And that's a fascinating back and forth with two all timers in the NFL that I did not realize we were ever going to be privy to.
Yeah. Apparently, you can trademark the number 8 if it's its own original look of a number 8, and Troy Aikman's 8 looks a little bit too much like Lamar Jackson's 8.
Well, and his is like the
how do you
spelled
by the
out
way,
in capital letters, word 8, and that's too close to Lamar Jackson's 8 that is capital E and then lowercase the rest of the word. It's like, what
by
are
the
we
way,
talking about here?
how do you make your 8? Do you do 2 circles like a snowman, or do you actually do the whirly bird?
I do the whirly
sideways
bird.
You do the sideways
I
infinity.
think I'm a whirly bird type of guy.
You're right. Look at you. You don't even know. You got to do
So
it to know it.
I'm doing it right now. Yeah. So I'm starting in the upper right-hand corner, curling to the left, down to the bottom right-hand corner, left bottom corner to the upper right.
That's impressive play-by-play. That was good work, Nick.
Yeah.
I am 2 counterclockwise circles.
2 counterclockwise circles.
And I'm the top counterclockwise circle first.
Yeah, that's how I always do a snowman too. I always
That's what
go
that's
with the first one. Yep.
I always wonder. I see the people do the the vertical infinity sign, and I'm like, wow, that's interesting, because I've always done 2 counterclockwise circles.
Wow, I mean,
That's interesting.
If this conversation wouldn't be brought to you by Happy Place Hemp, I don't know what should be. But now that I am thinking about it, I don't know why I'm a sideways infinity guy. Like, I don't know why I'm a whirly bird guy. It's just
when did that start? Did you have a nun crack your knuckles back in the day, Billy? I mean,
not really. Not that I can remember. I think it just always has happened, because I'm also a weird, I just have a weird handwriting where it's like a half blend of cursive and half print. So I can be as awkward as possible. And I don't even know if they're teaching that anymore in grade school, but that's just where I'm sitting here saying,
you can see
we hit the final moment of our week-long All-Star break. And the breakdown of the letter 8 might be the craziest but best conversation I've ever had.
Yeah, so I had some notes written for Billy earlier. You can see I just don't even pick up my pen at any point. Like
It just rolls all
I
the way
wrote the
through.
word line, L-I-N-E, all attached to one another. So yeah,
And do you do it in cursive?
I learned cursive, and I might have been one of the last years where they taught cursive.
Well, we all learned cursive. My question is, did you write it in cursive?
No.
Or did you actually? So you didn't pick up your pen at all, and you didn't even write cursive? You're a psychopath.
That's impressive. That is kind of
I
wild.
think I picked it up, but maybe I don't pick it up all the way. Like I'm pressing, but I
Guys, this is how you get through All-Star Week.
That's wild.
Super easy.
We made it all the way here to
No problem.
How do you
Super
write
easy.
the letter 8? That's remarkable.
The number
stuff.
8. The number 8. But
number
here we
8,
go.
letter 8.
Brian in Milwaukee, 2 circles for sure. There you go.
And as I say this, and as I brag about the iHeart Megaplex not being impacted, I'm getting no load on the internet here.
Come
so
on.
I curse myself. I jinxed it. Before I go and jinx anything else, we probably should get out of here. That's our Quick Trip takeaway of the day, brought to you by Quick Trip. Need something for dinner tonight? Don't cook. Stop by your local Quick Trip. Pick up a freshly prepared, absolutely delicious take-home meal. You might even find stick to what we know, stick to sports, stick to Quick Trip, and we'll get back to the sports when Green Bay Packers training camp officially kicks off on Monday. We will hear from Brian Gutekunst at 9:20 on Monday. We'll be live from Ray Nitschke Field, and it's going to be the start of the grind for the 2024 Packers championship season. For John Kuhn, Nick Bruswitz, I'm Billy Schmid. Great work, everybody. We'll see you on Monday from Packers training camp. It's been 9 to noon on the game.